What's up, Tru Heel Heat?
Tru Heel Heat.
What's up? Tru Heel Heat. All hands with all me.
Alright, this is Dan House here, very nice, very evil. You are watching Tru Heel Heat. Probably should have had MJF do this, but here we are.
Welcome to Tru Heel Heat, the place where we use insider terms because we think we know what the fuck we're talking about, even though we don't. My name's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it.
Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with Tru Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
Hey guys, it's Thunder Rosa and welcome to Tru Heel Heat.
What a week it was in professional wrestling. I was live on Sunday for AEW All In London with 50,000 people sitting in the Bryan Danielson family section as Bryan Danielson won the AEW World Championship to keep his career alive, and it culminated one of the best shows of the year. But then we had all the rest coming out of that, and a crazy week in professional wrestling as you had news coming out of Swerve Strickland signing a new deal with AEW, and WWE believes he might be overpaid. Reportedly. Don't want to upset any fans out there. Reportedly. You also got Ricochet debuting in All Elite Wrestling. Jack Perry is the first challenger for Bryan Danielson and his new reign coming up at All Out in 1 week's time. But this weekend, today, in fact, we got WWE Bash in Berlin. So we got final predictions for that. We got final predictions for tomorrow night's NXT No Mercy. It's a crazy week in pro wrestling, so you know the place to be, the flagship podcast. Get your plates. The Saturday morning cookout is about to begin. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Romeo's Twitter for Tru Heel Heat 292, all into No Mercy Bash. discussing the latest wrestling news, including Swerve Strickland signing one of the biggest deals in AEW history, and WWE reportedly believing it is bad for the business. Recap of this week in pro wrestling with AEW All In London, featuring Bryan Danielson's epic match of the year candidate with Swerve to win the AEW World Title. Dynamite featuring Jon Moxley's return to the company. Collision, Rampage, ROH TV, as well as RevPro's 12th anniversary show. You also had WWE SmackDown, Raw, NXT, NJPW Capital Collision. Stardom finished up its 5-star Grand Prix this morning. TNA Impact and Emergence. Plus, we got final predictions for WWE Bash in Berlin and NXT No Mercy. And the gang is back together. The three of us, just the three of us. We are back here, and we are good because joining us for a full episode, not just a guest appearance for our 7th year anniversary like last week, it is the princess of all the Tru Heels, Miss Krssi Love.
Good morning. SP, I always want to put my business out on the street. It's always something. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon.
They watched the show last week.
Okay, well, I mean, I was out. Like, I came in and okay, whatever.
You
Afternoon. I was outside. Sorry. Hey, guys, what's going on? How's everybody's week? What's going on? I seem like I missed a lot, so I'm happy to hear what's happening.
You know, that's why you come here every week. That's why most people come here every week for the show. But, of course, we are also joined by the true draw himself, Mr. Wedding Bells Are Ringing Soon Enough. It is Josh. How are you doing?
Doing good. A whole lot to talk about this week. Whole lot.
To say the least. It's a busy week, and we have to compact it into less than 3 hours, unlike the last few weeks, because WWE want to start a show at 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's why we're early, folks. In case
they're in they got to start early over there. So I mean, well, it's night is afternoon over there. So
I think they are 7 hours instead of me. That's 5 hours ahead. They're 7 hours ahead. So that's why they start at 1, because it's 8 p.m. there.
Right. Got it.
Yeah. So
it makes sense, and you ain't got to stay up late either. You're, for yourself or whatever. So that's great for you. It works.
I'm all for that. I'm all for shows that start early nowadays. Even if I was in the States, I would be like,
I'm okay with the early time. Right? Exactly. I'm okay with it. So it's fine.
Totally fine.
That's like last week's show was early. Well, it was early-ish. It was like 5 over here. No, what time did it start over here?
Over for y'all, AEW All In started at like 1
o'clock. Yeah. See, so another 1 o'clock show. It'll be over by like 5-ish, maybe.
Yeah. One would hope, right? And not 2 hours worth of commercials and other nonsense that they love to do to us.
They're gonna keep showing us the same video package that they showed us all week.
I don't like it. I'm like my daughter. I don't like it. That's what she says. Don't like it. I don't like all the commercials on WWE shows. If you're gonna have shorter pay-per-view cards, make it shorter shows. But we'll get into all of that. We got a lot to discuss on this week's show, but we appreciate y'all for joining us live. We appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible is by dropping the thumbs up on this video. It helps the YouTube algorithms and other wrestling fans like yourself see this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. But most of all, we want you to all sound off in the live chat. If you're watching us on Facebook, Twitter, or on YouTube, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys. You are the other hosts of the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast, so we always love your contributions. But to make sure your comment is highlighted on screen and to show your appreciation to what we do here and your support to keep the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel moving, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate that kind of support. like our good brother I Make Beats, who's like, I got a VPN to send y'all super chat, send y'all some love. So I'm gonna send it. And that's why we love you, I Make Beats. He says, happy wrestling weekend, folks. It's a busy one, and it doesn't stop. We're going 3 straight weekends of professional wrestling. Last week, All In. This week, Bash in Berlin and No Mercy. Next week, you got All Out. It's like, give us a break.
Wait, what?
Yes, next week is All Out.
How, Sway? What are we doing? Huh?
To be fair to AEW, last year it was the week after All In. At least they're giving us 2-week break with AEW.
True. Okay, sure.
Krssi seems so confused. Like, what is going on here?
Right. We gotta go early again next week.
No, it's in Chicago.
Oh, it's regular time. Okay, so it's there. Okay, they're in CM Punk land. Okay, got it. All right.
CM Punk land. I love that. And that's why Jack Perry is the #1 contender, folks. But
I love it. And I love the trolling of it all, though. That's great shit. Like between him and Drew McIntyre, it's so good. Like such good stuff.
We got our good brother G Loke in the chat. He says, "What it do, man? Please smash up the like. So much to talk about. Let's go." We also got Vala B in the chat joining us early. He says, "What's up, gang? I love it when THH runs earlier. Better than running on a better this than running on a Sunday." We had thought we were gonna run on a Sunday, but I was just like, you know what? That would be way too much wrestling because we have so much to talk about from this past week.
And you're probably gonna do a review tomorrow.
In Berlin. Yeah. I was gonna tell that to Josh at the end of the show. Might need you tomorrow afternoon for the Bash in Berlin review, but you know, I wanted to give us a break from talking about everything, including Bash in Berlin on a Sunday. That would have been too much, in my opinion. So we started earlier here.
Makes sense.
We also got Chuck Berries in the chat. Thank you for joining us today. He says, good morning, THH fam. Ricochet is all elite, and JBL shows up in TNA at Emergence. What does it all mean? JBL is showed up in AAA, GCW, and now TNA.
Craziness.
What is going on? What is going on in this wrestling? What type of timeline are we in?
I don't know. Yes, you're right. What timeline are we in right now?
It's crazy.
Why is this even a thing? Like, why? Like, why is it happening? Like, what? Like, does he got like dirt on like multiple people?
Wow.
Like, I don't understand.
Not dirt. Damn.
He got dirt on Conan, on Brett Lauderdale, and he got dirt on Anthem.
Yeah, because when he showed that GCW, it was just more funny. Like, to me, it was more hilarious. But then when he showed up at TNA, I'm like, all right, what are we doing? And then once Romeo told me he showed up at AAA, that's when I was kind of like just over it. Because I'm like, wait, what? Like,
really?
Why? Like, why? I mean, I don't hate. I don't hate JBL, but it's just like
not necessary.
Yeah, it's just I have so many questions.
Say what your chest. Say what your chest. It's all right.
It's okay if you hate JBL. He does hate Mexicans.
You know.
I mean that is true.
No. Yeah.
I mean that is true, but I mean he hasn't done nothing personally. He hasn't done anything personally to me.
Right. Okay.
It's just that why all I'm saying he has 3 jobs. I just don't understand.
He working like a Mexican. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Wrestling Lowdown Show says hello, everyone. Good to see you in the chat, Lowdown. I know you changed your name, so we love the new look. We got RP Jesus who says, morning, gang. Good to see you in the chat. We don't usually see you here on a Saturday, but I guess going early. We see a lot of our old friends in the chat here. And we got another super chat donation, this time from our good brother Vala B, who says, I got paid. Not as much as Swerve, but enough that no one is mad at me.
Why everybody worry about his pockets? Leave that man alone. Why? I don't understand this.
That was my only thing. Like
why are we worried about how much this man got paid? Y'all was not looking for him at all. Now all of a sudden y'all want to know. Y'all worried about how much he got paid. Fuck off.
No, they were. That's what makes it funny though. They were. They tried to tamper with him when he was with AEW already. They tried to get him back, and that's what makes it more funny.
Twice now.
Why are you trying to get?
They did this back when Triple H first got in control, they tried to ask him about his contract, and he's the one that went to Tony Khan and told him, like, yo, they trying to contract tamper out here in these streets, and now they did it again. And then I got a whole bunch of people. My tweet about it went viral again twice in 1 week. That I had viral tweets concerning Swerve Strickland.
Really?
And I had a whole bunch of people like, oh, you believe Dave Meltzer? You believe Dave Meltzer? Oh, I wouldn't believe Dave. You're naive to believe Dave Meltzer. You're delusional.
Oh,
WWE
now nobody don't want to
didn't
believe
say
Dave
that.
Meltzer. Anything else they believe him to do. This is like, oh my God.
Let Dave say something negative about AEW in the news, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, yep, I believe it. But as soon as it's about WWE, whole bunch of people mad at me for saying WWE saying that Swerve is overpaid because they tried to contract tamper and get him back.
Terrible.
Hey, I will keep saying reportedly, however you want to report it. We'll talk about that on today's show.
Dave hasn't been the only one to say it, by the way. It's just that
I literally said that to somebody. I literally said, I saw you message under the person because he was like, no reputable source has said that, and I was like, okay. I mean, I kind of sleep next to someone who works in WWE, but okay, you might know more than me. I don't know. But hey, here we go. Jaleel saying, hello, everyone. Good to see you in the chat today. But we got a lot to discuss. Keep coming with those comments in the chat. Keep coming with those super chat donations. Before we get into anything, we want to show our respect and our love to a legend of the professional wrestling world that we lost this week. RIP to Sycho Sid, the one and only Sid Justice, Sid Vicious. A legend, an absolute legend of the sport. Who's the man? The master and ruler of the former two-time WWF champion, former WCW world champion. He passed away this week. His son made the announcement on social media. Passed away due to cancer. He's been sick for a while, but he passed away. He's known as, absolute legend, one of the most like legendary monster heels, especially for us like growing up, me in the 90s. And I said to everybody, I have a very real connection to Sycho Sid, because everyone that knows that I watch wrestling since I was 6 years old either called me Sycho Sid, Sid Vicious, Sid Justice. So
Sid, you're Sydney. Okay, got it, Sid.
A fellow Sydney out here in the streets. Sydney's got to stick together, but an absolute legend and a monster heel that kind of really shaped our fandom when we were young. Krssi Love, of course, we want to say, thoughts and condolences and prayers to Sid's family and his friends and any of his fans. But Krssi Love, any memories of Sycho Sid you have this week honoring his legacy?
Just remembering him, the iconic, what you spoke about, I believe, last week when you was talking about, what was that? Was that Survivor Series?
1996.
Yes. That iconic, entrance was great. And then him feuding with Terrence from Florida, as a child, we were all Hulkamaniacs. But, he was a great heel. He did his job. We hated him. We were scared of him. And, him talking and screaming at us, we were like, oh my God, why is he so mean? Like, what is happening? But we were little kids and we didn't understand. Right, yeah. But then he was like good as well too. So he was like you like the anti-hero too. So
yeah, and he was always he was always like very popular, even like being the monster heel.
Right.
He got cheered against Hulk Hogan in 92, 91, which caused like Hogan to basically be like, all right, I might have a retirement match here at WrestleMania 8. Then he got cheered for turning on Shawn Michaels in 1995 when he was his bodyguard. And then he got cheered again against Shawn Michaels in 1996 at Survivor Series when he was supposed to be the heel against the top face in the company, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Josh, what about you? Any memories of Sid this week?
He was actually one of the first wrestlers I started watching. Like I remember when I started watching wrestling, I remember he was like one of the guys that stuck out because of like his unique look. And then I also remember when he won the WWF title from Bret Hart because of Stone Cold, and that's how the whole feud from Stone Cold and Bret Hart started going into WrestleMania 13. And then Sid also main evented WrestleMania 13. Like he was the champion. He faced Undertaker. Like those are the stuff that I remember. And
He's
then
champion a bunch of times.
yeah, and then besides that, I mean, a lot of his promo work, a lot of his stuff, like from WCW, probably one of the most infamous segments with what's his name? What was his name? The dude that went through the wall?
Oh, shoot.
The Shockmaster. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Like
Shit.
he did his best. He did his best to try to sell that shit. Like he did his absolute best to try to sell Shockmaster, and it was just downhill from there. But nothing. That was his fault. It wasn't his fault because he did his job.
He was doing his
tried
job.
to sell
Yeah,
it. He was trying to sell it, but then the guy just went through the wall, tripped, and
it was his fault. Yeah,
busted his ass.
They couldn't see into the stupid mask.
Yeah, and I feel bad because the actual guy, he's super nice. And,
Cody's uncle.
Yep.
Yeah, super. He's a really super nice guy, and at least now he's made like a nice living off of it. But with Sid, I mean, even like when he returned to WCW, his promos with Goldberg, when Goldberg smashed his cars, like I remember that.
Why? Goldberg!
And then like over the years, I mean, it's just I know like there was like little things that I always hear about, or like his convention appearances, how he used to skip it because of softball when he committed. It's unfortunate things just because it was more of a rib. Like he actually did it, but people were just like more like make jokes about it and stuff like that. And before his passing, he actually made his last appearance like at a convention like 3 weeks before his passing. So people who got to see him there, that was his last appearance. Like, so, I've been hearing a lot of good things about him. Apparently he was very big on family. So, I hope his family's doing well. Like they're going through a lot, but I mean, he had an amazing career for the time that he came in. Again, he had a unique look. He was the first guy I remember too doing a powerbomb. Like powerbomb was he was the first guy I remember doing that. So rest in peace.
One of the best power bombs, and like I said on AE Ramble when it was, the All In review that we did on Monday, I was like, I just used to always remember him doing his promos through his teeth. He's like, I'm the master and ruler of the world. I just loved it. I just loved it so much. R.I.P. to Sycho Sid. But we want to shout out all of you guys who supporting us across social media and right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, as well as patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. So we start things off with our Tru Heel roll call, our top 3 conversation starters over on the Tru Heels group page. You got Stewie Palmer, Neil Benedict, and Alan Weinstein. Bala B, Alan Weinstein, Negro Buck, Nick Jackson, Alice McCarthy, Professor Chris, Trey, Robert, Steve, Ladarius, John, aka Russell Scopes, Dan, Kobe, Dolores, John Martin, DJ Eric, Marcus, James, Allen, and Santo, our Patreon backers from this week. Thank you so much for supporting us over there. $3 a month gets you exclusive content and the best place to support us when we are not live here on the channel. But let's get into what we missed. And of course, we're going to start off with last Sunday's huge show from Wembley Stadium, AEW All In London 2024. And of course, we got to start off with the show featuring the main event. Bryan Danielson defeating Swerve Strickland in an absolutely incredible match of the year candidate, where Bryan got the win to keep his career alive. And finally, despite Hangman Adam Page getting involved, Prince Nana getting involved, his family at ringside,
everybody getting involved.
Bryan Danielson finally wins the AEW World Championship in front of 50,000. Post-match, Bryan celebrated his title victory with his family, Bree, Buddy, Birdie, as well as the Blackpool Combat Club and Pac in the middle of the ring, getting the celebration, the confetti going everywhere, us singing Final Countdown until the show went off there. You also had Will Ospreay and MJF put on a tremendous encounter with Will Ospreay beating MJF to regain the AEW International Championship with a little assist from the returning Daniel Garcia. But Will Ospreay finally hit the Tiger Driver 91 once again to regain the international title. We had Mariah May. She picked up the victory over Timeless Toni Storm in another excellent bout on the card to win the AEW Women's World Championship. Speaking of the women, you had Mercedes Moné defeated Dr. Britt Baker DMD to retain the TBS Championship. You also had, speaking of women, on the 0 Hour pre-show, you had former AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter made her return to beat down Saraya's entourage and her family, including her mother. That was kind of rude. Back on the main card, you had Jack Perry beat Darby Allin in a coffin match to retain the TNT Championship. Post-match, Perry and the Young Bucks of the Elite looked to set Darby on fire, but it was Sting who made his return to make the save for his protege, Darby Allin. Speaking of the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson beat FTR and the Acclaimed in a very good three-way tag team matchup to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Post-match, the grizzled young veterans made their official debut by confronting the Bucks and attacking FTR to make a statement. Hook defeated Chris Jericho to regain the FTW Championship thanks to an assist from his father, Taz. Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club, the new makeshift trios team, beat the Patriarchy, Bang Bang Gang, and House of Black in a London ladders match to win the AEW World Trios titles. And in one of the most fun things I have ever witnessed live, Krssi Love, Josh, everyone watching, the Casino Gauntlet. That what I've been to a Royal Rumble. I've seen a Royal Rumble live. I don't know if a Royal Rumble had me out my seat that many times, like back to back to back. But Christian Cage won the Casino Gauntlet match that featured the return of Nigel McGuinness.
That was fun, yes.
13 years away from in-ring competition. You had a surprise appearance from the G1 Climax 34 winner, Zack Sabre Jr., who went face-to-face with Nigel. And you also had the debut of Ricochet, who is always awesome to see in person. But it was Christian Cage who gets a guaranteed shot at the AEW World Championship, thanks to an assist from Luchasaurus. You guys watched it at home. So, Krssi, we'll start with you. What was your thoughts on AEW All In London, and where does it rank for you as far as the pay-per-views you saw this year?
Top pay-per-view for sure. I think it was a good show. The poor Mercedes and Britt match was just like in a bad part of the show, I feel like. Because the match wasn't bad. It's just that everyone had just went through they had like the casino match, gauntlet match. Then you had MJF and Will. Like you had, they were just followed behind like two back-to-back good matches, and it was just like everybody. Then everyone was like, "All right, I'm tired. I need a little break for right now." And then they should have put Jack Perry and.
I said that. I literally said that in the building.
But I also think that wherever they were put, they were going to be like in a bad, like follow behind like a bad like position. I feel like wherever you have like maybe if they would have went a little bit earlier and probably put like Mariah and Tony like in that spot and swap them, if maybe.
I think Mariah and Tony should have opened the show instead of coming behind a spotlight. I feel like I agree.
I agree with that. Yes.
After arguing with Jimmy Macaram on our review, I agree with him that he kind of screwed over both women's matches.
Because they both follow behind. Because they both were good matches. They just follow behind two like just bigger matches than theirs, unfortunately. But yeah, I agree with that. Like the women should have opened. One of the women should have opened up the show, and then kind of like pivot and like had them like go somewhere in the middle. If you know, because we knew they weren't going to main event, of course. But the women were in bad spots. I feel like even like the return of Jamie Hayter on the 0 hour. Like, come on, bro. I mean, yes, we didn't need Saraya there, of course, whatever. But however, Jamie Hayter, I think, could have gotten a bigger pop because more people would have been in the stadium. Because they was still at this concession.
I mean, no, she got a huge pop.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
From what it sounded like
building,
on TV,
she got a huge pop.
On TV, it didn't sound that loud. But I was excited. But, you know, it's just me. And she looks great. Don't go too orange with your hair, friend, because they're going to compare you to other people. We're not going to, you know, but, you know.
Oh, God. That
they already did.
Yeah, they already did that. Yeah, they already did that on social media. It was awful. Josh, what did you think about AEW All In London?
It was a great show, and that main event. Yes. I don't think I've ever been like that invested in the main event. Like it was so many things going on in that match, right? You had the storytelling, you had the physicality, you had them like, you know, showing his family every time something happened. And then when he finally won, it meant something. Like it was so many things going on. I was like, oh my God, like, you know, I know, you know, like we kind of had the same thing with that, you know, when he main evented WrestleMania 30, but I think this is a different level because back then when everything happened at WrestleMania, it was kind of more, I don't want to say gimmicky, but it was more like him trying to go through obstacles, right? Mm-hmm. He had to face Triple H to finally get his match at the main event. And then he faced, you know, he was in a triple threat match and then he won the match. This one's a little bit different because, you know, he had his family there. Mm-hmm. When he won at WrestleMania 30, he didn't even have kids yet. And then now he's a family man, you know, and it means something, like it's more. And, you know, I thought them selling the whole retirement thing, I thought that was great. Because it was kind of like, that's how I felt in the match. I was like, yo, you really telling me this is going to be the last time we're going to see this man? And he's right. All his, you know, he's giving it his all in this match. I'm like, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And you know, fortunately he ended up winning. He was my pick. I think he was both our picks, right? I mean, you said right. We picked Danielson. You know, and I mean, there's nobody more deserving of it, to be honest, with everything that he's been through and what he's been about, and him being a good company guy where, you know, he's representing the brand without trying to take shots at WWE or, you know, trying to bury them, because he's always been grateful for his time at WWE. So, you know, like I don't think there's nobody more deserving than Danielson. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a fan. That's how I generally feel about that. But then everything else, I mean, overall, the show, I thought it was great. The Mercedes and Britt match, I do agree that it was in a bad spot, but the match could have been way better than what we got. And I think it was more so on Britt. She hasn't looked that good since coming back.
Oh, damn.
She hasn't. She hasn't.
You're right.
She hasn't looked that good. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's been the rust that hasn't come off, or all the shenanigans that she's been dealing with. I don't know.
That's a good point. You're right.
And also you can kind of sort of, by 3 degrees of separation, blame Jamie Hayter being on the 0 hour on Britt Baker. If they didn't have their rumored falling out, the perfect spot to have Jamie Hayter come is right after a match that kind of was a letdown with Mercedes and Britt. Mercedes was celebrating in the ring so long, I was like, Jamie Hayter should come out right here, right now, like get the double pop. But because of that whole situation, whatever happened between them backstage, they can't, AEW can't put Jamie Hayter in the same storyline as Britt Baker apparently.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate, and everything is still kind of like, that stuff has been very vague too, because we don't know what's really going on. So it's been very vague. So we really don't know what's up. And then the Casino Gauntlet match, that was a fucking fun matchup. It was nice to see Ricochet. He seems excited. He seems like he has like weight off his shoulders, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like he looks comfortable. He looks like he's gonna be himself. So I hope to see more of that from him. Then what other matches we had? The triple threat tag team match, I thought it was okay. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, nothing crazy about it. I thought there was better matches.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot better the second time I watched it. From in the building, It was good, but I thought it was better the second time I watched it on TV. I still need to go back and Swerve and Bryan.
I thought it was okay
because that's probably Swerve and Bryan is like the best match I've ever seen live. Like I think that it's a conversation. It's a conversation right now between Swerve and Bryan or Bryan and Ospreay for match of the year for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even hold you to that because it was a lot, man. It was a lot of investing, and I know a lot of people try to use the whole like, oh, what about Cody and Roman? I think Cody and Roman was fun in its own way, but they're different in so many ways, like, so that's why sometimes I don't like comparing stuff like that. But then I'm like, it was the main event, and there were main events in two shows, so I get it in one way, but in the other way, it's like they're two totally different matches, and they're two totally different like stories that both companies told when it comes to that, and they're both great. They're both great in their own way. And then besides that, I think the show was overall great. The crowd was great.
Yeah.
The crowd was great. The crowd seemed like they were into it for almost the whole night.
It
didn't feel like, because you were there, Sid, it kind of didn't feel like there was like really big dead periods, because sometimes I feel like WrestleMania kind of suffers from that. Where
the only time the crowd seemed tired was Mercedes and Britt.
Yeah. So because in WrestleMania, sometimes they kind of suffer through that, like where they get like these big moments, and then the crowd seems like they're exhausted until like they're trying to like save it up for like the main event. I really didn't get that from this crowd. So overall,
how long was the Jack Perry match? Was it 5 minutes?
Just over 10 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes in the building for sure. And good shout by Lowdown Show that it was reported by Wrestling Observer that Darby and Perry's matchup got cut short because they did have a hard out. And I learned about that right before I went in the building, that they had a hard out at 10 p.m. local time. It was when the show ended at 10 p.m. on the dot, because I was like in the third row right across from the timer that the wrestlers can see on the hard camera side, and the show went off the air with Bryan celebrating 10 p.m. Eastern. He was still in the ring for like 5 minutes, having fun with his son afterwards, but the show itself ended at 10 p.m. on the dot. They had to get everybody out the building by like 10:30, 10:45.
They probably have like travel, like so they can like people could travel back home. It's probably something like what
also true.
Like people like here, like if you go like to arenas or whatever, like say we was in like MetLife, they have to stop at a certain time because in that train you're gonna be screwed.
Yeah.
Well, that, and I think also it depends on like the licensing over there at when they do wrestling shows. It could be that, because I know like New York has like kind of the same thing over here, minus the big shows and minus AEW or WWE. Certain shows had to stop like right before 11 o'clock. Like that's just the licensing of whatever rules. So it might have been that in the UK. I'm not too sure how it works over there, but that's probably it. That's probably what it was as well.
Bell saying, I see Britt, and I wonder if either she wants to be here anymore or everything is well with her right now. I think it is more the latter, because I was confirmed, and I kind of alluded to this on our AEW All In London review with Jimmy. I got a lot of confirmation about stuff that's been said about Britt Baker, and like the whole suspension it was pretty much what I said it was on the show of enough was enough. It's something that she had been doing, talking trash and causing problems with her mouth backstage. And also, I did get confirmation about the Adam Cole rumor. And it seems like from the person that I heard it from, they wouldn't have told me this. They're reliable enough that they wouldn't have told me this if it wasn't true. It does sound like they are not together anymore. So
Yeah, I've been hearing that for a while.
You're muted, Krssi, by the way.
I know I was muted, but I just was just like my face was just.
I've been hearing that for a while too.
Well, you know, things happen. I'm sad to hear that.
Because I've been hearing that they're living separately now. Yeah, like they were living together, and apparently now they live separately. So that was the main thing I was hearing.
She doesn't look like girlfriend material that I could put up with. I'm just sorry, and I'm a female.
I hope the best for her, but it's not looking the best.
Okay, wait, but you got
a mark on
your
hi.
I'm about to say you wrote on your face.
Yeah.
Don't rub it on me. Send super chat donations so I can clean my face.
Send super chat to clean my face.
She put marker on me. No, is it on my face?
It was it wet?
Yeah, I think so. Send super chat so Harlem can clean her face, as she says. But we got news to discuss coming out of All In because, you know, everybody's talking about Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland, one of the best matches of the year. But Swerve Strickland was in the news for other reasons, as it was on the 0 hour pre-show. Swerve made it official that he has signed with AEW. He will be with AEW for a good while longer, signing a new deal with the company before All In. It was revealed on the 0 hour pre-show that the former AEW World Champion signed a new deal with the company. Fightful Select reports that the deal is a multi-year contract that will keep him with All Elite Wrestling until at least 2028, though. The exact length of the deal isn't known as of now. The site confirmed that the deal is one of the biggest in AEW history, and Swerve originally signed his deal with AEW in March of 2022. It was a 3-year deal that would have taken him into next year. The site notes that Strickland has outperformed that deal, and that talks began on a new deal when he became a champion. AEW has prioritized getting the contract done to lock him in with the company for years to come. Sources in AEW has said for a long time that they were incredibly happy with Strickland's work in and out of the ring, and he is expected to remain a performer at the top of the card during his deal. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Strickland is staying in AEW through September of 2029. The deal was agreed to several weeks ago, but the announcement was saved for Sunday at All In London. WWE attempted to acquire both Strickland and his manager, Prince Nana, at one point in the last year. There were some discussing that Swerve is now a rich man with the deal, which is said to be one of the biggest in wrestling. However, it would still put him below what some WWE stars like Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton are making. It's believed to be in line with what Kazuchika Okada and Mercedes Moné are earning in AEW, although those are lower numbers than has been rumored. WWE sources indicated that the reaction was the deal for Strickland and another offer to Daniel Garcia are quote unquote bad for the pro wrestling business because they go over what WWE would consider the market value for Strickland and Garcia to be at. The belief is that Tony Khan is spending more than he has to and raising salaries, which in turn is bad for the business overall, according to those WWE insiders. So I'll go to you first, Miss Krssi Love. What do you think about Swerve Strickland signing a multi-year deal that will keep him with AEW to 2029? Him getting one of the biggest deals in wrestling, and the WWE sources reportedly reacting and saying that it's bad for the business.
Why would it be bad for the business? I'm confused. Because he's getting money as much. Like, what? Explain to me, how is this bad for business?
I think if this report is true, the WWE's way of thinking is that Swerve is a mid-carder to them. and that him as AEW World Champion didn't raise up the TV ratings, didn't raise up the ticket sales for AEW. So are you getting a return on this investment? And giving someone like Swerve this type of contract is only going to have to make WWE pay guys who they consider to be upper mid card or future main eventers more money than they should. And WWE is a publicly traded company, so they're all about maximizing profits and bringing down expenses. Whereas AEW is privately owned, so they have different kind of basically rules and stuff that they have to abide by and go behind, and they have different goals between the two companies. So I do understand, if the report is true, why WWE would say something like this, but I feel like hating on anyone getting the bag. I'm always talent first.
Yeah, talent
I think it's
first.
very unbecoming. And especially because it's an African American talent as well.
I'm about to say
this is something similar from what we heard of their reaction to Mercedes Moné getting the deal that she got.
And it's like, okay, you guys obviously didn't see my potential and didn't want to pay me, and that's okay, that's fine. However, these people see something in me, obviously, and want to keep me here and want to pay me. So you don't see me as a star, but obviously they think that I'm a star, and they're treating me as a star. He was at doing all their press conference, like it was him and Mercedes there with their belts, and Athena, like all three of them who are black. Y'all have never done that on your side over there, Paul Levesque, Vince, Stephanie. I can go.
Vince put the title on Big E, Bobby Lashley, and all these, and Kofi. But there's certain fans on social media who was trying to give Triple H credit for that.
No, he didn't do that. He was in NXT still.
Yeah. So
he maybe Keith Lee when he was on the NXT side of things. He gave it to Swerve too. Okay, fine. They don't hate black people that much.
He gave Swerve the North American title, to be fair.
Okay, yeah, but they never gave them like. He only gave it to Keith Lee. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it, but the signs show it there. You have a problem with black people.
I'll say it. Triple H don't like black wrestlers.
You got a problem with black people. It's okay. It's all right.
If the report is true, this means WWE hating on Swerve, Ricochet, and Mercedes getting the bag. They about to break up the New Day over on Raw.
Yeah.
They didn't want to push Bobby Lashley as a top star to the point that he left the company.
Yes.
They didn't want to reunite the Hurt Business to the point that MVP left the company.
Mm-hmm.
They're undermining and marginalizing Bianca Belair in a tag team for the past 6 months. The Street Profits ain't over like they used to be. You never want to push Montez Ford on his own. Triple H don't like black people.
And look at Naomi. We could talk about Naomi. Naomi been back how long? Suffering. Just floating on by. It's terrible. You've made all valid, great points, SP, and you are correct. He does not like the black.
I'm just saying.
They don't see it. I don't know why.
This is a hard week for Triple H to beat these allegations. And we only have 2 black people on today's card, WWE Bash in Berlin, and we've only had.
And they're in a tag team.
Outside of the Royal Rumble, we've only had 2 shows this year that had black males on pay-per-views.
Dumb.
Josh, what do you think about this report in regards to Swerve Strickland new deal and WWE's reaction to it?
It's good for Swerve.
It's great for Swerve.
And he knows his worth and he got his money. Like, if everything is true, he got his money. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Right? When you want to negotiate a new deal, you want to make more money than your previous deal.
Right. We do it all the time. If we don't like our jobs and we hate getting what we get paid, we start looking elsewhere to get more money. It's the same shit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what he did. And the company that values him, they gave him more money. Like, that's why I just don't understand, like, why this is a bad thing. Like, I mean, the business aspect, I get it, about like investing and all that stuff, right? All that stuff I get. What I don't get is why WWE even put it out there. And the only reason what I could think of is just this is just their way of trying to disrupt their perception all over again.
Yeah,
like that's how I take it, because these are things that they don't have to do, right? If AEW is giving somebody more money, who gives a shit?
Yep.
Why is it their business? Like,
and that's the point I'm trying to say. That's why do you care?
The company is worth 11 figures, remind you.
Yep.
Right? They're worth 11 figures, and they're worried about what the other company's doing. You know why? It's because they don't want to pay their wrestlers. That's why. They don't want to do that. They don't want to. Oh wait, this person's coming up. His contract's coming up. Oh, this is what he's asking for. Oh no, we're gonna have to give it because we don't want them to leave to the competition. Like, that's the only reason why they're doing it. And again, like, you know, like I made a post yesterday about it, and I know like there was like 2 people who were trying to give me shit for it, you know, because I called out the tampering. Like, I called out the bullshit from WWE's end, right? They want to brag about making record profits. They want to brag about record revenue. They want to brag about all this stuff. But then, yeah, when it comes to talent for another company and what they're getting paid, it's
you just hit your dad. That's not nice.
Yo, like, what was that? Yo, I was like, I just looked up.
She had her hand back. And I was like, don't you do it.
Yo, she just like cocked.
You clocked, just like
damn.
Like, this is the second time this week she's done that.
Oh, so she thinks it's funny.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Damn. Okay. Well, yeah. Y'all gotta do something.
No, so it's like, you know, but when it comes to like, when I was talking about it yesterday, somebody like legit tried to agree with like oh, you know, like Tony Khan's an idiot paying all this, and I'm like, why is he so mad? Like, why is this guy so mad about all of this, right? So then when I was like, you know, like, oh, but let's ignore the tampering that they're doing, the guy was like, oh, that I'm reading too much into the dirt sheets. I'm like, no, there's people that I know, and they're credible, and I'm gonna believe them because they have credibility in the business. So then somebody tried to jump in, try to say like, oh, but let's ignore when AEW does it. And I'm like, and I asked the dude, I was like, yo, if you have proof of AEW tampering, by all means, let me know. You know what was his proof? Oh, that people are friends with each other, so that's tampering. Apparently, you can't be friends with other people.
Be friends with them, yeah.
Apparently, you can't be friends with anybody from AEW, WWE. They can't be friends because that's tampering, and they try to justify that. There's people who legit try to justify that, and I'm like, I'm not buying that bullshit. And I said it. I was just like, if that's your definition of tampering, then that's, you know, you must have like, I was like, your definition for that must be very low when it comes to that actually understanding what's tampering. Being friends with someone.
This whole report just really feels like WWE's attempt to make AEW look bad for signing Swerve to the contract that they did. And they did the similar thing. They did the similar thing with Mercedes, where they felt like she was getting paid way too much and not above what they were offering. They did the same thing with Ospreay when Ospreay chose to go to AEW, and Triple H came out and says, "Oh, he's running from the grind." Like, this is why, like
this is their attempt.
Although we are the first people here on this show that shit on Dave Meltzer when he gets something wrong. This is why this report is much more believable than any other report, because we've seen WWE do this. This is what they did. It was an attempt to undermine AEW signing one of their top stars to a big money deal, but it backfired because it makes them look bad. It doesn't make AEW look bad. It makes
AEW. It makes them, because it looks like they didn't want to hire, bring these people or nor pay them. That's what it looks like.
You know, but
so they try to deflect from it and make these like stupid accusations. That's what it is.
Yeah, but then also I think it's just one of those things where, you know, a lot of fans, and they're not going to look at it that way. A lot of the hardcore fans, they're going to look at it as, oh, well, he's right. He's right. I'm like, what is he right about? What, somebody getting fucking talent getting paid? And I said it yesterday, like, I was like, yo, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be mad at anybody, any talent that's going to make money. Like, who gives a fuck? It's not our money. So why are we even pressed about this? Like, it's not our money. It's not. So I'm like,
I'm happy. I said it last night on Sportskeeda. I will say it here. I'm happy that Swerve Strickland is getting paid more money than he ever got before in wrestling. I'm happy that MJF won the bidding war of 2024 and he's paid like crazy. I'm happy that Stephanie Becker left the hell out of Mexico and played WWE against AEW and got more money than she ever received before. I'm happy that Julia can leave Japan and make a whole bunch of money with WWE. I'm happy that Kevin Owens is about to make a killer bag because his contract is about to be up. Like, I'm happy for any talent getting the bag. I am with talent over the company. That's what I'm all about.
Same. And that's why I was like, you know, and then when I saw your post, you know, like when I saw your post and people like trying to like, you know, come at you about it, it was just like, why is there people so upset about this? I don't get it. Like,
I don't get it. It's because people have a weird affiliation to letters. They are more. Some people are not like us that are for talent the first. They are more for, oh, I've always grew up and I've been a fan of WWE, so I want them. I don't want anything to be said badly about WWE. And then there's the other side of like, oh, I've been rooting for AEW since day one. I don't want anything to be said bad about AEW. I agree with Junior Star here. Shout outs to all the current talent, Robin, TKO, and Tony Khan, because that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely. That's what yes, I agree, Junior.
Yeah, but then, you know,
money. So what? Whatever it is, no matter.
But you know what it is too is like when WWE feeds information like this, people run with people. A lot of WWE fans, they're fucking again like they. What's that meme? A stand for WWE? That's what they do. Because whatever they're gonna say, it could be the most dumbest shit, and they're gonna say, "Oh, this is facts. This is true." This is like, no, it's not fucking true. It's like somebody deserves. Again, you want to be treated like a fucking sport. Guess what? When somebody's a free agent, they're gonna demand more money. Like we see it all the time. Like in fucking baseball. Fucking Shohei Ohtani got $700 million. Like, it's free agency. Like, nobody's complaining like, oh, he got overpaid. It's not our money. Who gives a fuck? Like,
exactly. We got a few super chat donations here. We got I Make Beats who says, I hope that market's not permanent. I mean, the market is always going to change and fluctuate. And like I see a couple of people saying in the chat, WWE made all this money from their TV rights deals. And I agree with Junior also saying, like, they're overpaying some people too. They're paying people way above their market value too. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why they would even, if it is true, this report, why they would even put that out there.
I'm sure Sycho is in the bag. I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Yeah. To sit at home for the past 8 months. Chuck Berries with a super chat donation here. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, one of our big supporters here on the channel. He says, get that bag, Swerve. I ain't mad at you. You can have all the white girls you desire. LOL. Dude,
you know what? Chuck, we're not doing that.
I mean, Chuck is not lying. I'm just saying.
He's not lying. Swerve did say black and ugly. And we finally got another super chat donation from Bala B. Thank you so much, Bala B, for the more support that you're giving us. And he says super chat for the clocking Harlem Tru Heel thugging out here. Yes, I got to deal with this. I got to stop her.
Crazy. I looked up.
He's trying to clock her brother sometimes. Look, I'd be like, yo, chill. He ain't about that life. He's peaceful. He ain't a maniac like you. Like, chill. That's what you deal with when you got a monster 4-year-old. But yes, keep coming with those super chat donations. Keep coming with those comments because we got more news in regards to WWE's thoughts on AEW and interest in AEW talent. As PW Insider had an update on Daniel Garcia's AEW status following his return at AEW All In London. It was reported earlier this month that Garcia's current AEW contract is up in October, and he had not yet signed a new deal. PW Insider reports that Garcia has yet to sign a new contract, and he's still currently in discussions with All Elite Wrestling on a new one. As of now, his contract is still slated to expire in October. During the post-media scrum at All In, we had Tony Khan address Daniel Garcia's return and his contract status with the company. He said, and I quote, "I don't want to necessarily comment on everybody's contract length or status, but Daniel is here and he's a great part of AEW. We've been having great success, and this is a great night to reflect back on what we've been doing here in AEW. For some reason, we keep going back to the past 3 years, but at Revolution, we talked about the 3-year run of Sting. Bryan Danielson at All Out 2021, he debuted, and we're coming up on 3 years of Bryan Danielson in AEW. And again, a really special moment in those 3 years. Well, it's been about 3 years with Daniel here. And Daniel Garcia started with us at Daly's Place, and he was on that run of shows before we went back and started wrestling in front of crowds again. So he's somebody who has been with us for a long time, somebody beloved by the fans and backstage. So we love having Daniel here. And without saying exactly what's going on, it is a good sign that he was here, I think. And really great to have him come and take that next step tonight after what happened with him and MJF. It was a great payoff to a lot of storytelling in the recent weeks on Dynamite. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, both AEW and WWE have interest in acquiring Garcia, and Garcia has at least considered WWE. However, people in WWE now believe he is staying in All Elite Wrestling. It was noted that WWE has been trying to recruit Garcia before this. So once again, another report about WWE contract tampering, because Daniel Garcia is definitely still under contract with AEW. So if they are actively trying to recruit him while he's under contract, tampering. But tampering doesn't exist in wrestling, apparently. But I think that yeah, it is a good sign that Daniel Garcia returned at All In, and I don't think Tony Khan would put him on that show, the biggest show of the year, if he didn't have a good feeling that he was staying with the company. Ergo, we see what happened with the trios titles, because Dave Meltzer also reported that Pac and the Lucha Bros Death Triangle were supposed to win the trios titles in that London ladders match. But of course,
right.
they got swapped out by Claudio and Wheeler, because it seems evident that the Lucha Bros are leaving. We see the same situation where Ricky Starks in AEW, where they are still in a position of flux, despite what Tony Khan said in the media call before All In about Ricky still being on the contract. Ricky still hasn't returned on TV, because it's a good feeling that he's going to leave as well. So I think that Daniel Garcia being back on TV, having a big match with MJF at All Out, is a good sign he's re-signing with the company. Any thoughts, y'all?
No, I mean, it's a good move. Again, it's a good move for him, not only money-wise, but we've been saying it for a while. It's like, I think if he goes to WWE, his ceiling would be NXT, because if he goes to the main roster, he'll be dead in the water. So I think this is a good move for him. You saw that reaction when he came out for All In. He's a likable guy because he puts in the work, right? And I think anybody like that deserves to get paid. And obviously AEW values him, because when they first brought him in, he wasn't under contract. He was just one of the extras, because the pandemic was going on and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. He was just an extra, and he worked so hard that he earned a contract. So I think that alone, shows how much AEW values him. And this is just another example of him coming back on TV. Just tells me he's probably staying. And
most likely, yeah.
We could talk about hey, going to WWE, there's more people, more eyes. At the same time, me personally, I would like to be the place where I feel like I'm appreciated, I'm valued. Obviously, AEW feels that about Garcia, so it's a good move.
100% agree. And Wrestling Lowdown Show, don't lie to the people in the chat. Bash in Berlin is not starting yet. The main card starts at 1 p.m. Eastern. But of course, if you want to watch them talk for 2 hours about nothing except for the show that you already are going to watch, the pre-show is starting right now, but everybody knows the pre-shows are not.
A lot of their voices are kind of annoying, to be honest with you.
Their voices are annoying, and also they're going to show the same video packages that they're going to show during the show.
Exactly.
So there's no sense in watching a pre-show.
Don't waste your time, guys. Stay with us. Here.
Watch us. Yeah, we can be more entertaining than that.
Why did he do that? He tried to look at that. He just tried to do what WWE did. He tried to sabotage us.
Power Driver Finisher says pre-show is total dog shit. Exactly. Power Driver Finisher knows this is the real pre-show here. A new report had details on Bryan Danielson's AEW World Title win at All In London. Danielson defeated Swerve Strickland to capture the title at last Sunday's pay-per-view. And Fightful Select reports that Danielson had pushed against winning titles in AEW for a long time. The report adds that Danielson often and actively pushed back on the notion of winning a championship, but Tony Khan was adamant that he become the AEW World Champion, and Danielson finally gave in. Khan is said to have specifically wanted the closing moment of All In, which saw Danielson celebrate with his family as champion. Sources in the company said that the decision for the match to be the main event All In was made at least by April, and that Strickland versus Will Ospreay hadn't been planned. One source noted that Ospreay will have many chances to main event Wembley Stadium. The report adds that there were jokes backstage of a reverse Montreal screw job to make sure that Danielson won the match. That's hilarious.
Right.
He just puts on a label lock thinking that it's going to be a non-finish and that Swerve's going to go to the ropes, and then Swerve just taps out on him. He's like, fuck, I'm the champion now. Damn it. Would you do that? But yeah, great stuff. It was one of the best moments of the year for AEW for sure. But prior to that, it wasn't one of the best moments. Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker, and apparently Mercedes Moné agrees. She addressed the criticism of her title defense against Britt Baker last Sunday at All In London on a recent edition of the Moné Mag. Moné revealed that she did sense audience fatigue during the matchup. On the audience fatigue, she said, I did sense some audience fatigue. It's only natural being third to last, as the crowd had already seen 10 matches before ours.
Yep.
On things she did during the matchup, she says, I feel I did things that maybe were not necessarily required for that match. Things I could have saved for another time. But again, little sense in looking too far back other than what we can learn and use moving forward. I love Mercedes being the ring general and taking blame for the match not being well, but Mercedes, don't beat up yourself too much. It was Britt's fault. Sorry. And then finally, the Wrestling Observer newsletter has an update on the pay-per-view buys All in London. Tony Khan noted during the press conference that it was one of the two biggest of the year, along with Revolution. That event had 180,000 buys. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, All In was up 40.8% from full Forbidden Door for TV buys, with streaming numbers up 45%. That would put an estimate of 167,000 to 173,000 pay-per-view buys for this show, not counting late buys. Of those who bought All In, only 46% bought Forbidden Door. And of those who bought this year's WWE SummerSlam, only 5.5% also bought All In. The final number for last year's All In was 205,000. This year's will end up being the fourth or fifth largest in AEW history. Ahead of the AEW Dynamite, Tony Khan took to social media to express that he was very happy with the success of All In. On Twitter on Tuesday, he noted that Sunday's pay-per-view sold over 50,000 tickets and was the top two of AEW pay-per-view buys for the year, alongside AEW Revolution. According to WrestleTix, the number for ticket sales was actually 53,393. And according to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, that number is only 2,200 less than this year's SummerSlam in Cleveland. The paid attendance for All In was the fourth largest ever for a wrestling show in the UK, only behind last year's All In, WWF SummerSlam 1992, and WWE Clash at the Castle 2022. The Live Gate, which was over 6 million, is the third largest in the UK, behind last year's All In, which did 10.1 million, and Clash at the Castle 2022 that did 8.1 million. So great success for All In London, which parlayed into AEW Dynamite, although the crowd sucked. The show did do pretty well in the attendance, keeping even with last week's show. They did 697,000 viewers. They did a 0.23 in the 18 to 49 number, which was number one on cable for Wednesday. And the show featured the new champion, Bryan Danielson, announcing that he will not retire and will be a fighting champion. And when he loses the AEW World Championship, it will be the end of his full-time run, but he's not leaving yet, making an open challenge to anyone, which was accepted by TNT champion Jack Perry, who came out to lay out Bryan to set up a title match at All Out in Chicago. So Jack Perry looks to become a double champion next Saturday. We also saw the return on Dynamite on AEW TV of Jon Moxley for the first time since Forbidden Door, and he cut a cryptic promo where he called out Darby Allin while also letting Tony Schiavone know that this is not your company anymore. Later in the show, Moxley was asked about his comment, and then him and Marina Shafir beat down some backstage personnel, and it seems that they have a new association, and Moxley is having either a hostile takeover or a new group coming in the near future. Hangman Adam Page beat Tomohiro Ishii in a very good, hard-hitting opener to Dynamite this week. But post-match was even better as Swerve Strickland came out to confront Page after he got involved in the All In main event, and he challenged him to a steel cage match at All Out in Chicago next Saturday. Swerve then admitted, Swerve, who is supposed to be the babyface here, folks, he revealed that he stalked Hangman Adam Page and his wife, his pregnant wife, before she gave birth to her second child, and wants to see what kind of man Page will be in Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, Swerve Strickland, the babyface, said that. Let that marinate for a minute. Yeah. Got a good promo on denouncing America after losing the AEW American Championship. He promised to screw Will Ospreay out of the AEW World Title and called out Daniel Garcia. Garcia then attacked MJF in an intense brawl to set up their all-out matchup. Speaking of all out, you also had Willow Nightingale on the show. She announced that she will face Chris Statlander in a Chicago street fight for the CMLL World Women's title at the pay-per-view next Saturday. New AEW Women's World Champion Mariah May showed off her goods while postponing her title celebration in a interview with Tony Schiavone. Hook and the Hook. Oh, we also had Jamie Hayter make her first matchup on Dynamite since May of 2023 as she defeated Harley Cameron. Good return for her. You also had Hook and the Conglomeration defeated Roderick Strong and the Learning Tree in an 8-man tag team matchup. Post-match, Strong and Undisputed Kingdom jumped Hook while the Conglomeration brawled with the Learning Tree. And Ricochet had his Dynamite debut in a win over Kyle Fletcher and another very good matchup on the show in the main event. Post-match, it was Will Ospreay who appeared to seemingly confront Ricochet, but he was quickly attacked by Pac, who delivered a vicious Poison Rana to the AEW International Champion before their title match at All Out and told Ricochet to get to the back of the line. My question to you guys is, I'll start with Josh. What did you think about Ricochet's debut on Dynamite, and how does Ricochet kind of fit in AEW? Because I will say I like Ricochet. I think that he's a perfect fit for AEW because he's all about his in-ring style and he could stand out. But I wasn't too impressed with his debut on Dynamite this week, to be honest.
His performance was okay. I thought the overall match was great, but it's just, because we've gotten so accustomed with Ricochet, like we know what he could do. This was kind of like minor compared to like what we've seen from him, but I think hopefully, I'm not too worried about it. It was a first matchup. It was his first time working with Kyle Fletcher. Maybe that does play a role, so I'm not too worried about it. But I mean, I look forward to it.
I don't think Kyle Fletcher was the right guy to put against Ricochet.
Yeah, and I think that. Yeah, like maybe that plays a part. I don't want to say anything, but I mean, the match was a good match. Like I enjoyed the match.
Yeah, very good, very good match. I just don't think it showcased Ricochet.
It didn't,
and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it didn't.
Was
Yeah,
it that bad?
No. It's not. It wasn't that the fact it was bad. It was just like
No,
because
I'm not saying, oh no, Ricochet in AEW is awful now. No, what I'm saying is I wanted to be impressed with what I saw from Ricochet, and I wasn't too impressed. I thought it was a very good matchup, but it wasn't like one of the best matches. It's not in my top 10 matches of the week, and I expected that from a Ricochet.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Because I kind of felt the same way, but I'm like, you know what? It is his first match. It's his first singles match. You know, he definitely has more like to offer. So I'm not too worried about that. But overall, I mean, the show was great. I thought
Dynamite was good. Okay,
they really put a fucking iron. Like they put the iron on that show for All Out. Like it
really felt like All In was the season finale, and that the Wednesday show was the season.
Yeah. And I felt like they had to do that too, because it's like we're fucking 2 weeks away from it. Like, now we're a week away from it. But it's like I wanted to see what they would do, and I thought they did a fantastic job when it comes to that. We had match announcements, we had feuds going, you know. We had Pac do that crazy spot. He did that crazy spot on Will Ospreay. Swerve and Hangman looks, you know, like they fucking killed it as always. That I'm never worried about. Every time Hangman and Swerve on screen, they always kill it. And then it's up to Annie's, you know, to make it a cage match, even though I wish the title was involved, but to make it a cage match, it makes it, you know, like this is what they need. I didn't need another singles match. It can't be a regular singles match at this point for these guys. So the cage match I thought was a good call. But again, like, overall, I thought they really struck with the irons hot when it comes to, hey, we have another pay-per-view coming up. What do we do? And I thought they really did a good job when it comes to that.
Yeah. We got Chase in the chat. Good to see you, Chase, who joined me on the Raw review this week. He said, I was really hoping for Christian to challenge Danielson instead of Jack Perry. I knew that Christian wasn't going to be the challenger because they did emphasize that the win at the Casino Gauntlet, he gets the title shot whenever he wants. So I didn't think he's going to cash it in. He's going to cash it in. Like
Christian, and also with Christian, you could also still do like kind of like a nice build-up when it comes to that. When it comes to like any type of program between him and Danielson, because remember, Danielson's father did pass away, and you know how Christian feels about fathers. So
and plus, I think that they explained it very well why Jack Perry was getting the victory. He pinned Danielson at Double or Nothing. He beat the number one contender in Darby Allin. It's in Chicago where he's gonna get good heat, and it's a
he did too.
You can't put him against like someone that you want to have like a long, intricate build on. This is someone that you could instantly just put in there and have first Bryan, and he's gonna lose to Bryan.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt Perry either, because all he's trying to do is just beat the shit out of Danielson, so it doesn't hurt him at all. But then also, like, you saw that crowd reaction too. Like, they were booing the shit out of him because he attacked Danielson. So I think it's a good move. Again, he's gonna generate heat, and you know, we're gonna get a lot of Phil Brooks chants.
Yes, of course.
I mean, it's
Phil Brooks land.
I think it's fun. I think it's a fine direction, especially 2 weeks away. It's like, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. And then you also have Darby. Remember, we still have Darby lined up. We still have Christian lined up. So it's like, this is a good segue of like, hey, he's gonna get his first title defense and he'll win. So
we didn't talk about him having thumbtacks glued on his face.
Oh, Darby
Allin, folks. I love him for it. That was awesome.
I'm like,
who does that? Who does that?
I mean, at this point, I expect anything from Darby Allin.
Right. At this point, you just like, I'm not surprised at anything that this man does anymore.
He's like the Steve-O of AEW at this point.
That's a great comparison. Great comparison right there.
He will put his body on the line for anything. It doesn't matter.
Indeed. We got another super chat donation here from Louisville. Great to see you in the chat, my good brother. He says, better than the pre-show. Indeed. Put it in the chat. Better than the Bash in the Berlin pre-show is Tru Heel Heat on a Saturday morning. We got some news coming out of AEW Dynamite and All In a sense, as Jamie Hayter made her return on AEW TV at All In, and a new report had some details around her return. She returned on the 0 Hour pre-show for the first time since May of 2023, and Fightful Select has confirmed she is cleared for in-ring action. A short squash match was considered at one point for her return. According to the report, a return to the ring became more of a possibility over the past few months, and a tentative plan for an all-in return was put into place. The report cites sources close to Hayter, who said that she was at an AEW taping recently to meet with Tony Khan, which was kept quiet, and that while there was a general idea of the plan for her at the show, it was not finalized until last week. I'm fine with Jamie Hayter coming in, having a short feud with Saraya. I hope she's on the all-out card, but sooner rather than later, we need her back in the AEW World Title, Women's World Title scene, because her and Mariah May, please, Tony Khan, please, I need that. I need that in my life. You agree, Chris?
I agree too. Yeah. We don't need her fraternizing and being pulled down by Saraya. No, thank you.
Love that.
As you see where it's led her right now. We put her at the undercard and on a pre-show.
The unproblematic icon. That's her nickname, Saraya.
Yep.
AEW Collision last Saturday. The show featured Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta beating Lio Rush in Top Flight in a pretty fun trios main event to qualify for the London's ladder match for the AEW World Trios titles. You also had the conglomeration defeated Undisputed Kingdom in a good opener. Willow Nightingale defeated Harley Cameron. Jeff Jarrett beat Ari Daivari, and Hook picked up a win over Big Bill, who got a huge positive reaction from those Cardiff fans, as well as in the UK in London at All In. AEW Rampage last night. This was the best Rampage in quite some time, as the main event was a banger, which had Konosuke Takeshita returning from the G1 Climax 34 tournament in New Japan to defeat Commander, Lio Rush, and Beast Mortals in an awesome four-way main event. You also had the Grizzled Young Veterans beat the Outrunners in their official in-ring debut following their debut at All In. Mina Shirakawa, the new Rev Pro, undisputed British Women's Champion, beat Misa Kate, and Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal defeated the Undisputed Kingdom and Private Party in a pretty solid three-way opener to the show. But news coming out of All In, as it was announced at All In, 2 huge shows for 2025. Among the announcements at the event, AEW announced they will return to the UK for next year's Forbidden Door pay-per-view, but they did not confirm the location just yet. That it won't be at Wembley Stadium, as they will return to the stadium for All In 2026. Many fans have alluded to believing next year's Forbidden Door will take place at the O2 Arena in London, England. Meanwhile, the company has also announced they will be going to Australia for the first time for Grand Slam Australia on Saturday, February 15th from Suncorp Stadium in Milton, Australia. Fightful reports that AEW filed new trademarks this week for the upcoming Australian events, including Grand Slam Australia and AEW Grand Slam Australia. The trademarks were filed on August 26th with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So huge news there for the 2 big shows. All I'm going to say is that AEW better improve their marketing and promotion, because that arena, that stadium holds 52,000 people. And AEW's TV viewership in Australia is at like 20,000 at best. So work on your promotion and your marketing, because you're going to need it for this show.
So hire a whole team. You need a whole staff. You need a whole super team for that. So
your team needs to hire more social media people. They need more networking. What's the people? You need more branding. Yes, there we go. Yeah. You definitely need all of that.
Because AEW, they do have an analytics team, and it's something that I did find out. That's why they're targeting Australia. That's the reason why they're going there, because I guess like they saw something that they feel positive about, and that's why they're going there. So if they could have something like that, then yeah, they could definitely have a marketing team. Like,
and the marketing team definitely needs to like improve. I think overall, not on just Australia. I think in general, like their marketing.
in general, yeah.
In general, this needs to like be like, again, even what we've talked about, like with merch, like when you go to these shows, they don't even have like the right merch. It's like the same regular degular shit. Like it's terrible. I'm sure when you was in Wembley, it was like terrible.
Most of the stands that I saw did not look good. I did hear that they had the Bruv Will Ospreay shirts, so at least they had some talents stuff, and they did do big merchandise sales for Europe. So
okay,
hey,
that's good then. That's good.
If they're doing well,
see that had that Bruv shirt at fucking Forbidden Door, I would have bought it.
We would have bought. That's what we, and that's me and Josh said the same thing. That's what we wanted. That's what we was going there for. I don't want to wait for pro wrestling tees. I wanted to get it right now, and they didn't have it. They had all of the Mercedes shirts when she came.
One final note before we wrap up with AEW here. AEW Collision will be airing directly opposite WWE SmackDown next week on Friday. AEW announced on Friday night that Collision will air on Friday night due to All Out taking place on Saturday evening. The show will air at 8 p.m. Eastern, going head-to-head with the final episode of SmackDown on Fox. AEW Rampage will air immediately following Collision. No matches have yet to be announced for either show, but that should be very interesting. One last thing before we wrap up with AEW this week, I wanted to ask both of you guys, what did you think about Jon Moxley's return on Dynamite, and who do you think could join a potential new Jon Moxley faction to take over AEW along with, and what do you think about Marina Shafir joining up with him?
Interesting.
Right.
If they're going this direction with Jon Moxley, I kind of feel like I'm gonna trust them with it because there's John involved. Usually, when he doesn't like something, he'll be vocal about it. So I don't think it's something that's being forced. Something for Shafir. We all know that she's solid in the ring. She just has no charisma. That's just her fault. I mean, she doesn't. She has no charisma.
She just needs to be the silent assassin next to Moxley.
Yeah, and I thought like what she did was pretty solid. Like that's all she needs to do. Like just bring her out. Don't have her talk. Don't have her give a backstory. Just have her be a badass. That's all you need from her. Because that's technically what she was trying to be used for before. But then it's like you come out with that bland music, nobody gonna say nothing. Nobody gonna react to it. Sorry. But besides that, I mean, it's interesting because I'm like, there's so many. But then it's like, what the fuck is gonna happen with Blackpool Combat Club? Like, I mean, I know they're together.
I'm here for Moxley to feud against the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, I mean, I am too. It's just interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, why would they break that group? Like,
I mean, they're not
breaking that group up because they haven't had any direction for a year. They're heels some weeks, they're faces other weeks. Break it up.
Even though I do like Claudio and Willa Yuta together, it seems like they're like a nice pairing.
Good team, yes. I'd like, yes.
So like I'm fine with that.
But you have Moxley split off from them and start his own group, and you have them go against the Claudio Wheeler and Bryan of that Blackpool Combat Club. That's what I really
it's just a matter of
they're gonna make their own little war games faction over here, like us against them. Okay, fine.
Why
sure.
not? I dig this idea by Chase saying I think it's a Bloodsport invasion of sorts. I don't think it's Shane McMahon at all. I hope it's not Shane McMahon. Please
don't let it be Shane.
But I can see like Josh Barnett coming in, maybe MVP because MVP wants to do Bloodsport. Maybe he joins up with Moxley and his new gang. I think that this has potential, but I was more intrigued than confused in regards to
same thing.
In regards to that promo and the segment. Yeah,
it's more interesting than anything, just because again, if Mox is involved, he'll give pushback if it's something he doesn't want to do. So if this is something he's for, then it's like I'm just gonna.
It must be for a reason.
What's that? Yeah, what's that term? Trust the process. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yes. And then let's finish off with the converse with ROH TV as well as RevPro from last Saturday. First, with ROH TV, the show featured Lee Moriarty defeating Angelico in a very good main event to retain the ROH Pure Championship. Johnny TV beat the debuting Sydney Akeem. What a week for Sydney's, the former Reggie and Scripps in WWE. He made his debut in a loss against Johnny TV. You also had Athena beat Alana James. Yes, absolutely. In an ROH Women's World Championship Proving Ground matchup. Post-match, Abaddon came up to confront Athena, but was taken out by Billy Starks with the title, who didn't get credit for it, with Lexi Nair instead getting Athena's praise. Mina Shirakawa, she made her ROH debut, defeating Rachel Ellering in a rock-solid bout. What a week for Mina. Post-match, Taya Valkyrie attacked both women from behind. And speaking of Mina and RevPro last Saturday, what a show it was. Some people said that this show was even better than All In, with the show featuring Luke Jacobs defeating Michael Oku in a terrific main event to win the RevPro Undisputed British Heavyweight Championship. Post-match, Tomohiro Ishii stepped up as the next challenger for the title. This was after Ishii had a great matchup, a great hard-hitting matchup with JJ Gale to pick up a victory there. Meanwhile, the winner of the G1 Climax 34 tournament, Zack Sabre Jr., he defeated Hechicero in a fantastic technical wrestling masterpiece. The aforementioned Mina Shirakawa, she won the RevPro Undisputed British Women's Championship in a win over Dani Luna in a good matchup.
I need to learn her dance.
Absolutely. She was doing the Daniel Garcia dance this week.
I know, I saw her doing it. I love
Sunshine.
her.
Sunshine Machine defeated Grizzle Young Veterans in a very good bout to win the RevPro Undisputed British Tag Team Championships. Gabe Kidd beat Donovan Dijak in a hard-hitting clash. The Cutthroat Collective, they picked up a victory over Team RevPro in a super fun 5-on-5 no DQ war. Will Caven beat Cameron Kai, Leon Slater, Neon, El Phantasmo, and Dante Martin in an awesome scramble match to win the RevPro Undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship, while RKJ defeated Zozaya with Saraya and Zach Knight in Ricky Knight Jr.'s corner. Great show. Go out of your way to watch it. RevProOnDemand.com. Great service, which has all their great content over there. But let's move on over to WWE with SmackDown ahead of Bash in Berlin later today. They were in Berlin, Germany. The show featured LA Knight, beating Germany's own Ludwig Kaiser in a good opener to retain the United States Championship. You also had Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens had a good promo exchange that had to be their best segment in the build-up to their matchup later today, bringing up their history together with ROH and the Elite connections, as well as Owens revealing that Cody had suffered a knee injury during the European tour ahead of their undisputed WWE title match at Bash in Berlin. Carmelo Hayes defeated Andrade in yet another very good bout between these two to even their series at 2 wins apiece. WWE is now going full throttle with treating this like an NBA playoff series. They have the 2-1 graphic in the corner. Great stuff. You also had Nia Jax. She beat Michin in a pretty fun street fight to win the WWE Women's Championship. That also featured the return of Bayley for the first time since SummerSlam to even the odds with Tiffany Stratton interfering. So it was a pretty good show last night from SmackDown. Pretty good stuff from SmackDown last night. I just haven't felt any sense of urgency with Triple H this week on go home shows. I think it's because Peacock, you paid for it yourself. You already paid for it. They don't really care about selling the show for you. You get that sense too, Krssi?
I do. There was no push for none of this stuff, and like you said, Peacock done already got their money, so they ain't even worried about us. Peacock got their money about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and the price done went up. I think it's $7. It's $7.
It's like $8. It's $8.
It's $8, and then there's another $8. I think it's $8 and $7 now. Before it started at $5 and $4. So I was paying $9. Now it's like slowly creeping up. It's going to be at $20 as soon.
I might cut off my Peacock while I'm out here.
I'm about to cut, like, I'm getting sick and tired of them. I'm getting tired.
Sick and tired.
Just push it to Netflix. Like, just let's watch it on Netflix now. It's okay.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Exactly. Let's just move on now. Let's just get over it.
Oh man, that's bad news. But unfortunately, we have to talk about something serious. And no, it's not Vince McMahon. We will talk about Vince McMahon shortly. But TMZ reports that Dancing with the Stars alum Artem Shinvin Sins, the husband of WWE Hall of Famer and former superstar Nikki Garcia, aka Nikki Bella, was arrested on Thursday, August 29th, and arrested on charges of felony domestic battery based on online jail records. The nature and circumstances of his arrest are unknown. Artem is currently incarcerated and awaiting bail in Napa Valley, California, where he and Garcia own a home together. The details that led up to Artem's arrest are still unknown. The report said that Garcia shared a post on her Instagram stories on August 28th, showing that she was also in Napa area. At the moment, it's unknown. It was unknown if Garcia was involved in the situation, but that was later confirmed that yes, it was. The couple reportedly celebrated their wedding anniversary earlier this week. They were married in 2022, started a relationship after being paired up on Dancing with the Stars in 2019. They also have a 4-year-old son, Mateo. Their relationship was also featured on several reality shows on the E! Network. Additionally, PW Insider reports that Artem is still in jail and his bail release is listed at $25,000. His booking indicates a charge of California Penal Code Section 273.5A, which reads illegal to injure a spouse, cohabitant, or fellow parent in an act of domestic violence. This offense is also referred to as domestic abuse, domestic violence, or corporal injury to a spouse. The story is still developing. Artem and Garcia's camps have not yet responded to TMZ's request for a comment. TMZ issued an update on the situation of the arrest of Artem on felony domestic battery earlier on Thursday. A representative of the Napa County Sheriff's Office revealed that police deputies responded to a domestic violence call in Utahville shortly after 10 a.m. local time on Thursday. An arrest was reportedly made at the scene, and injuries are said to be involved. The representative stated that the victim in the case has asked for total confidentiality, and the investigation is still ongoing. Nikki Garcia has issued a short public statement following her husband's arrest on charges of domestic violence. Garcia issued a statement which read as follows: "This is a private matter, and Nikki asks for privacy for her and her family at this time." A representative of the Napa County Sheriff's Office stated yesterday that deputies responded to the call, and yeah, these are all the details that we have as of now. So, thoughts and prayers to the Garcia family, to Nikki Garcia. But, and then we also got a further update that it was Artem who called for medical attention for the person who was the victim in this situation because of the injuries to them during this whole domestic violence situation. So,
I mean, he did call, but like he does obviously have some issues that he needs to like work out. And hold on one sec.
No worries. Josh, what do you think about this whole situation? Not a good look. I mean, it started off like a great, beautiful week for the Garcia family with, Brie and the kids celebrating with Bryan Danielson. Nikki Garcia was even live tweeting during AEW All In London, talking about her son Mateo watching the show. So kind of sucks that we're ending the week with this kind of talk here.
It's very unfortunate. When I was reading the details of it, it's pretty disturbing, right? Usually when you hear like anything domestic violence, it's always not good to hear, but like, usually there's like levels to it, and this just seems very troubling of what happened when I read like the details. And him calling, to me, it's kind of, I think it's more troubling that the fact that he called, which is like, yeah, he called, but then it's like you just attacked your spouse and you realize what you did, to the point that, oh my God, I really hurt her, and you called the cops. That's pretty disturbing. You must have a really disturbing impulse for you to like realize what you did, and that's scary. That's kind of that's, to me, it sounds like an unhinged individual if that's what happened. Especially like hearing about it, like they got into an argument, and then apparently she threw like a pair of shoes at him or something, and then he just did what he did. It's just, I don't know. It's pretty disturbing, man. Like,
it's really sad.
Regardless of what people have said about the Bella twins, whatever the case may be, that's all wrestling stuff. That's all like their job. And I've met them in person. Like, I've met the Bella twins in person, and they're super nice.
So nice.
Super nice. It's so sad and unfortunate.
Yeah, they're always, regardless of what people want to say, they're always incredible with their fans. So it's very disturbing. It's very, it's very sad. And I hope Nikki stays away from him. I hope like this is kind of like a situation where she moves on, she moves forward. Because to me, I don't think this is the first time that this has happened.
It's not.
Yeah, like the way I hear about it, the way I hear about it, it just seems like it's happened before, and now because this situation got so bad that it's out there, I just don't think it's a one-time occurrence to me. Like, it doesn't feel that way. So like, I just hope, like, because I don't think there's nothing that's gonna really repair it. I think once you get to this level, especially being on the being on the public eye, once it gets to this level, I just hope mentally, I hope she gets better, and I hope I hope Eric, like physically, of course, physically you'll be okay. Like you recover from that. It's more emotionally, it's more mentally. That's where it really could hit you, right? Especially having a child involved, especially the child there. I think that makes it even worse. That all that happened but the child is there. So I mean, overall, I would just hope she's okay. I hope she moves on from it, and like, she has a great support system, right? I think wrestling community, they support them no matter what, right? Support what they've done, no matter like what people, regardless of what you want to say about them. They were a big part of like women's wrestling and WWE. So again, the support system is there, and I hope she gets better.
Krssi, you wanted to add anything?
Yeah, pretty much like, this is not the first time that this has happened. Just so happened that this has like now been showcasing, like, now the public knows about it, but there has been several like incidents of him, of him like doing things. This is even before they even got married. This is when they were even partners on the show. And other partners on the show have said stuff about like his anger. He can be very violent and whatnot.
What's going on?
I can never be me. I just can never just get things,
It's okay. No, let it out. Let it out, Krssi.
It's okay. No, it's all right. You get Harlem interrupt you. I have them, it's the same shit.
This is what we deal with. When we're parents, significant others, But yeah, no, all jokes aside,
No, yeah, all jokes aside, no, they like, he needs to get help and like really like take care of himself and like do the necessary things to like get yourself together. And I pray that, like, if she does take him back, like they, get some serious like help and go through things that, give him a little grace. So
yeah. I would just say, thoughts, prayers to Nikki Garcia, as well as her son, Mateo, because never want to be involved in that. I grew up in kind of a situation what the son is involved in, and seeing my mom with a significant other that kind of went through that, to pull back the curtain a bit. So I know that can affect and still wear on someone. I'm 36 years old, and I still think about that type of stuff. And the person that what my mom was with is not even around anymore. It's deceased, but it still weighs on me, and it's still something I think about to this day. So hopefully they can get the help that they need and all the support and prayers that they can get right now in that situation. So we got a couple of super chat donations I'm going to read after we finish up the news from SmackDown here. WWE Bash in Berlin is scheduled for later today, and there are currently only 5 matches scheduled for the event. Fightful Select had an update on WWE sticking with the format of less matches for PLEs. According to the report, WWE premium live events with less matches are expected to continue. WWE officials are currently happy with the PLEs with less matches on them, and the format has been working for the company. It's also reportedly helped officials stack Raw and SmackDown with more matches, which is beneficial when running SmackDown in the same cities as the PLE. Friday's edition of SmackDown was held in Berlin, Germany at the Uber Arena. Like I said before, just cut on the runtime and I'll be happy. Jesus. And then finally, Jacob Fatu appeared to suffer an injury at WWE SummerSlam when he hit the splash and held on to his leg. He was sporting a walking boot, and he wore that boot when he returned to SmackDown a few weeks later. However, that is no longer the case. During the company's live event in Germany, Fatu came out with the bloodline in his normal attire with no walking boot. So he is healthy. He's all good. He can stop kicking people with the walking boot.
I mean, I would have left it on a little longer just to show as let the story keep going, but whatever. If you could wrestle with a cast on your arm, you could wrestle with one of those. Just gotta watch your feet.
Hey, he's healthy. Just put the tag belt back on him. Thank you.
Oh, you know what? Okay, fine.
Chuck Berries with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, good brother. We appreciate the support. He says, months ago when I said I wanted more for Baron Corbin, it did not mean teaming with Apollo Crews. SM fucking H. Not feeling this. I like Crews and Corbin. I think they've been a fun tag team, but they have no personality, no character at all. This is not a good fit because you need one of the guys to have the personality to kind of push this forward, and neither one of them, especially Baron Corbin as a babyface instead of a heel, he doesn't have the same personality and the same charm to him that he had in his previous tag team with Braun Breaker. So I'm also not feeling it, Chuck Berries. He also sends a second super chat donation. Chuck Berries, you're killing the game. We appreciate you. He says, wanted to ask this Thursday, but I'll ask today. Which character was worse, Happy Corbin or Learning Tree Chris Jericho?
Happy Corbin
by far.
No,
by far.
I say Learning Tree Chris Jericho because this is bored. Happy Corbin was only a month. Like Learning Tree Chris Jericho is going on for 4 months now.
No, it was longer than that. Stop it. Nope, it was longer than that. Don't do that.
It was like a month. It was like
no,
a month.
It was longer than I'm telling you.
It was longer. It was longer because remember he was stuck with that other idiot, Madcap.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're. Oh, I'm thinking bum ass Corbin. You're right.
Yeah,
No. Bum Corbin. No.
Bum ass Corbin was great.
He was great. They should have left it at that for a while. They should have left that at that for a while, and then once they went to Happy Corbin,
I can admit when I'm wrong. Yeah. I was wrong because I was thinking of bum ass Corbin, which that was only a month. That should have went much longer. But Happy Corbin was awful, and it was like around for a year. So yeah, you guys are right. It's Happy.
Yeah. Now, bum ass Corbin was way better. Like they should have kept it, and they were doing actual videos. And then once they, wait, he became rich. It's like, what the fuck is this?
He was a bum, and then he became happy because he won, right?
Because he won money in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
that's why he became Happy Corbin. Yeah, you guys are right. It's Happy Corbin. My mistake. WWE Raw this week. The show featured the in-ring debut of Uncle Howdy in a win over Chad Gable in a good main event. You also had one of the best angles of the year as Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman fought to a no contest after they brawled to the backstage area and the parking lot. This led to Reed hitting Strowman with a lead pipe and then delivering a thunderous tsunami off of a concrete wall on top of a car with the windows of the vehicle exploding. This was fucking awesome.
Yep.
The Judgment Day beat LWO in a fun multi-man opener that saw Dominic Mysterio once again score a pinfall victory over his father, Rey Mysterio. Post-match, the Judgment Day tried to put Mysterio through the commentary table, but Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, the Terra Twins, came out to make the save. Jey Uso beat Karrion Kross and Kofi Kingston, while Pete Dunne picked up a victory over The Miz and Xavier Woods in a good triple threat for both Uso and Dunne to advance to the number one contenders fatal four-way matchup to determine who will face Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship next. And Drew McIntyre cut a promo making fun of CM Punk's routine on the mic. Yes, he watches Tru Heel Heat. Thank you, Drew. We appreciate you. And the fans for embracing the nostalgia hack over him. This led to Punk attacking McIntyre with the leather strap to get upper hand ahead of Bash in Berlin. Any quick thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week? Uncle Howdy's debut or the Bronson Reed big angle with Braun Strowman?
That was great. Whoever did that, wrote that, y'all did that. That did something different and not out of the box. It was like, no, this is going to have complete mayhem. And we're going to jump off of a cliff on a car and like explode this bitch.
Yeah, I've been liking what they've been doing with Bronson Reed. Like they make him like a legit monster. I like that stuff because I think when he was in NXT, he was okay, but I'm like, this guy's not a face. Like, what are you guys are doing?
He's supposed to be a badass.
Like, you know, like so like when he had his indie run, he became a heel and he looked good. And you know, they kind of, you know, like obviously Triple H likes him because you see it. So they've been doing great stuff with him. I've been liking it. Besides that, I mean, what else happened on the show? The main event was okay. Like nothing over the top, but it did.
What else happened on the show?
Like, I mean, like it did its job. Like it wasn't nothing crazy, but I mean, again, like when you're dealing with the Wyatts, you're not really expecting like a fantastic match.
If it's not trash, it's good. That's
as you guys would say, and then the bell rang.
No, I'm saying that, but
it's not been and then the bell rang.
Like Bo looked good. Like for what he was doing, he looked good. It's just for me, the feud just feels one-sided. That's all it is. It just feels one-sided.
It does. I don't see how this is doing anything for Chad Gable in American Made.
Like they got together, right? This was the whole point. Like, hey, he got with new people, like, right? The Creed Brothers are supposed to be better than what he had before, and they're still losing. So it's like. Maybe you're the problem, Chad. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the fucking problem. And then the Jew stuff. I mean, Punk. Hey, you know, don't have him talk. He beats up people. It worked backstages. That's what they did. So it worked.
Punk is not the worst of the week this week because they kept the mic out of his hand.
Thank God.
Kept the mic out of his hand.
And I like the fact that they made fun of it. I like the fact that I think you know what it is. I felt like Drew did that because I think there's been criticism again. Like there's been a lot of criticism to Punk's promo like routine because it's just like, bro, like we know this man could do better, and it's just the pandering. The pandering is just over the top at this point with Punk. It's like, bro, like we fucking get it. You're happy that you're back in WWE. What else do you got? What else do you have, bro?
What else do you have in the chamber for us? Because you ain't cooking, bro. You ain't cooking. But yes, and I agree. Boy, does it.
What was that?
Saturday morning.
People on my side.
THH. Gotta love it. Am I frozen?
No, a little bit.
You guys are frozen for me. Okay. Now I see y'all moving. I was worried for a second. Y'all were frozen for me.
That was a little blurry, a little froze over there, but it's all right. No, that's not new. Now he's frozen. Can you see him, Josh?
He's frozen.
He's frozen now. He's frozen now.
He was so worried about not being frozen. He ended up being frozen.
He ended up being frozen. Now he's frozen. Oh, there he is. He's back.
I'm gonna jump out and then jump back in.
Okay.
Yeah, because like he's moving again.
Yeah.
See,
He's lagging.
He's Sid frozen.
Sid frozen, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Yeah, let me see. He said, look, he said Sid frozen.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Bobby. He said, I got nothing because Phil got nothing other than getting hurt again. You know, he's prone to he's accident prone. So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I hope not. I mean, he's having a strap match tonight. Hopefully, everything goes well. It's like,
I mean, I hope so. Yeah, like he hasn't wrestled like since
SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Well, that's his first match back.
Mm-hmm. Bless you.
Thank you. Like that was his first match back, and he did look rusty.
Yeah.
In that match. So, but the match was good, regardless of what Uncle Dave wants to say about the match. I thought the match was still good.
Yeah, I thought.
Did you read the super? Sorry about that. My internet don't want to let me cook. We were making good time here, so
we
had to freeze me up.
Which on this one, this super chat? Tsunami.
Yes. I make beats with the tsunami. Indeed. Thank you guys for holding it down as the internet forces is like, oh, we're gonna slow you up because you're going too fast through everything. But we have some news to discuss coming out of Monday Night Raw this week. Big news that was announced yesterday. Netflix has announced that their upcoming Vince McMahon docuseries, Mr. McMahon, will debut on September 25th. The series has been in production for some time. It will include interviews with Vince McMahon himself a bit before he resigned from WWE due to allegations of sex trafficking, rape, and more. While WWE recently signed a deal with Netflix, it seems that they may not have been involved in the show's production. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics reports that WWE does not have a production credit on the new series, and the series was produced by Chris Smith of Tiger King, as well as involvement from Bill Simmons. So I'm ready. I'm ready to review this. Krssi Love, you ready?
Wait, Bill Simmons, as in the guy who hates Doc Rivers? Bill Simmons?
Yes, that Bill Simmons.
Oh God. That could go either way.
Right. I want to say, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm ready to review it.
I'm ready. I think it's going to be good.
I hope so.
September.
I hope so.
When it come out?
So basically,
September 25th.
Okay.
So I know they've been working on this for a long time, right? This was the one that they apparently were going to cancel, but then they're like, let's just do it anyway. So my question is this going to cover like everything, as in like even the current stuff that's going on now?
I don't know. Probably at like towards the tail end.
Yeah. Because it was supposed to come out in like 2023, but they prolonged it because they added all the stuff after the accusations came. They added all that fallout.
Oh boy! So
yeah,
it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
No, I'm gonna watch it too. I'm definitely gonna watch it because I want to see like what they actually do. I just hope, like if it's a Netflix one, obviously Netflix they usually lean into certain things when it comes to like their documentaries, and some people will be pissed off. So I wonder how they're gonna do this thing that's gonna either piss off people or have them side with either side. Like usually they tend to do that. Like we had making of a murderer. People, they created like these conspiracy theories about that. So now people feel like the guy is innocent. Tiger King, you have that.
Oh yeah.
You have that with Tiger King. And then the Aaron Hernandez one, where there's a lot of stuff that came out about like his past, and so I wonder how I'm definitely interested to see how this is gonna
how they're gonna do this one, because they are known for doing good
because there's a lot with Vince McMahon. like again, people could glorify the fucking man, but we all know he's been a piece of shit since like the 70s.
Stealing from people forever. So he just now getting caught.
Hope they cover my favorite Dark Side of the Ring episode, Krssi, where he paid off the police to hide Jimmy Snuka murdering his girlfriend.
Oh,
anyway, PW Insider reports that during today's Bash in Berlin kickoff, during Friday's Bash in the Berlin kickoff, Randy Orton revealed that he signed a new deal with WWE, and he said that it was a 5-year extension on his current deal, which would bring him through August of 2029. This wasn't the first time, though, Orton was in the news this week, as Machine Gun Kelly says that he had an interaction with Orton during WWE SummerSlam weekend. The rapper and singer appeared at the pay-per-view, where he accompanied Logan Paul to the ring for his match with LA Knight. And he appeared on Paul's Impulsive podcast, and he recalled a run-in with Orton before the show. He said, I was in the ring just coming to Logan to see what we could work out for the show. I saw Randy Orton. I remember seeing Randy Orton talk shit about me. There is a point where I was like, I'm going to practice a new version of myself. 3, 2, 1. Fuck that. Aw, man. Fuck you. All my boys were sitting there stunned. Is this real? I don't know what's happening. The amount of people that pinned me as the aggressor in every situation I'm in are so wrong. Randy Orton seems to be casting doubt on the notion that he and Machine Gun Kelly had an encounter over SummerSlam weekend. Orton posted to Twitter tagging Machine Gun Kelly with a lying face Pinocchio emoji. So, believe that however you want to take it.
You want to say, yeah, I'm about to say, do we really need to talk about this?
Not really. I just wanted to mention it.
I prefer to talk about his extension over than.
Yeah, I'm about to say the same thing.
Does that make cap?
I mean, there's nothing to his extension. He just extended.
That's about it. I'm saying I'm saying that's why I'd rather talk about it.
If you guys wanted to know, the pre-show has The Miz, Biggie, and Michael Cole. That's what I said.
It has Biggie. That's the only thing we're missing. In other contract news, Fightful Select had an update on another WWE veteran who signed a new deal. According to the report, former WWE Women's and Tag Team Champion Nikki Cross has signed a new deal with the company. While Cross hasn't wrestled since November of last year, she's currently part of one of the company's top angles and stables with the YS6, appearing as part of the group as Abby the Witch. Fightful reports that Cross.
What's that girl name?
No, she hasn't wrestled yet under Abby the Witch.
Okay, sorry.
No, she hasn't.
Fightful reports that Cross started negotiations with WWE earlier in the spring before the faction debuted on television. Her contract is reportedly a multi-year deal. Additionally, Fightful notes that WWE sources have long praised Nikki Cross, especially during her work at the time of the global pandemic. Also, many extras have informed Fightful in the past that Cross was especially welcoming to them when they did their extra work in WWE. So congratulations to Nikki Cross. And someone new in the WWE universe, as reported a few weeks ago, Joe Testatori is set to debut as a new announcer on WWE Raw starting next Monday, prompting changes to the announce team. Sports Business Journal reports that Testatori will be joined by Wade Barrett on Raw, making the team for the flagship program. Meanwhile, Michael Cole is moving to SmackDown, where he'll call the show with Corey Graves. It was noted that Cole and Pat McAfee will be back on Monday Night Raw once it moves to Netflix in January. I don't really get the point of having Cole go
back
Raw, SmackDown, and then back to Raw.
This is just too much shit because it's too much catering. They're trying to cater to Pat when he comes back. They don't need Pat McAfee. I'm sorry.
They really don't. I mean, he's good. He's cool, but
he's good when he wants to be good.
Yeah, he's always yeeting. He always doing too much. I feel like sometimes,
He's always yeeting.
Just small doses. I deal with. It's small doses. When you get too much of it, man, it's too much sometimes. It's too much. So I'm glad he's doing the college football shit because I don't watch that anyway. So he can stay over there for now.
We do have a super chat donation here, a big one from Belle. Thank you so much, Belle. We always appreciate your support when you're able to give it to us and your thoughts and takes. She says, as someone who grew up watching my mother being mentally abused and finding out she was physically abused by my father, who was also abused me and my brother, my heart goes out and my thoughts and prayers truly go to Nikki and her son. I thank you, Belle, for those words, because it's hard to kind of express that, especially with your words that you're typing out, and to be so vulnerable and open. We appreciate that because it shows that you understand this is a safe place for you to express that. It's like I did. I went through the similar thing myself, so I really appreciate your words. It means a lot, and you always got family and support here for like I said earlier. It still weighs on me. It's still something I think about. And my stepfather passed away in like 2016, but I still kind of hold that against him because I did have to see him and my mom go through that type of thing. And I still held some resentment toward my mom for bringing them back in our lives. Like there's always that. There's always the duality of that situation. I always loved my mom, and I never wanted to see her go through that. But I do hold some resentment to be like, why did you even accept them back? So
you're like, again, it's hard. They don't know like their worth. They don't know like there's other things that's better, that's not love, it's hurt, and they just don't see like the signs.
Yeah. Very true. But thank you so much, Belle, for that super chat donation and those words for sure. But let's move on. Finally, closing out WWE this week. NXT, the show featured Joe Hendry, had his latest live concert, making a song making fun of NXT champion Ethan Page. This led to NXT general manager Ava announcing that Trick Williams will serve as the special guest referee for their NXT championship matchup at No Mercy, before Joe Hendry put Ethan Page down with the standing ovation, and Trick counted the 1, 2, 3. Wesley and Zachary Wentz had a good promo exchange to set up their grudge match at No Mercy tomorrow night. Kalani Jordan beat the debuting Rosemary from TNA in her NXT debut. Post-match, Wendy Chu laid out the NXT Women's North American champion ahead of their title match, and Joe Coffey picked up a victory over Javon Evans in the main event of the show. But news coming out of NXT on Monday, WrestleVotes reported a potential major change to the WWE Performance Center. They wrote, according to a source, there was an all-employee meeting today at WWE headquarters in Stamford, hosted by Mark Shapiro. He said, I'm told the biggest news to come out of the meeting is that the WWE Performance Center will be moving to Las Vegas in the near future.
Oh, wow.
Fightful Select reports that sources in WWE stated that the claim was false, with one source quickly reaching out to say that it didn't happen unless another meeting was held. Other sources confirmed Shapiro made no such announcement. The site notes that sources indicated that Shapiro was talked about how Las Vegas is a sports and entertainment destination, and that there was the possibility of a WWE presence on the table. That said, WWE would need to determine what the presence is, how big it would be, and the like. The report continues to say that no one at the PC has heard of any such plans to move to Las Vegas, and were shocked when the word began circulating of such a move. Several sources noted how many of the main roster talent have a close proximity to the PC, where it currently is, and thus have easier access. It was also said that the cost of living for trainees is much better in Orlando than Las Vegas.
I can imagine.
It sounds like WWE wanted to do damage control, because he probably let that slip, and they was just like, the trainees at the Performance Center was like, oh, hell no, I ain't moving to Las Vegas. Fuck that. Who would, like, I'm not surprised that the cost of living is much cheaper in Florida than Las Vegas. Like,
well, I mean, Florida is a dump, so
you know what?
We're gonna need a Josh disclaimer, man.
Yep, I'm about to say the same thing.
He's calling people bums. Now he's saying that Florida's a dump.
I mean, parents from Florida is there, so I mean, that's all you need to know.
You know, when the man is right, you know.
Hold my hands up. Hold my hands up. When he's right, he's right. You know, can't say it. Man, I'll talk about Joe Hendry a bit more when we get to TNA Emergence because he had one of the best entrances of the year at Emergence last night. And Annika calling you out, Josh says, Josh.
I can hear her saying it too.
But last night you had NJPW Capital Collision from Washington, D.C. And Mercedes Moné made us all forget about the dud with Britt Baker because she put on an excellent main event against Stardom's Momo Watanabe to retain the NJPW Strong Women's Championship. Gay Kid beat Leo Rush in an equally great semi-main event to retain the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. Hiromu Takahashi defeated Mustafa Ali in an awesome fast-paced bout. Post-match, Ali declared himself for next year's Best of Super Juniors tournament. Hiroshi Tanahashi and Tomohiro Ishii defeated TMDK's Bad Dude Tito and Robbie Eagles, as well as the Grizzled Young Veterans to become the number one contenders for the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team titles, while the champions defeated Virus and Hechicero from CMLL in a very good bout to retain the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. This led to Ishii and Tanahashi challenging TMDK for the titles on October 20th at Royal Quest, which the champions accepted. Zack Sabre Jr. has put on one of the craziest schedules I've seen a G1 winner. He won the G1 2 weeks ago, and he has faced Hechicero in RevPro in a great matchup, a technical wrestling clinic. He puts on another technical wrestling clinic here against Teton, picking up the victory in a brilliant matchup. Meanwhile, in between all of that, he was in Wembley Stadium in that banger Casino Gauntlet. Then you have his upcoming opponent at King of Pro Wrestling, Tetsuya Naito beat TJP in a very good matchup, while Dirty Work picked up a victory over the West Coast Wrecking Crew in a pretty wild no DQ matchup. And then they closed out the 5-star Grand Prix. We'll get to that shortly. Capital Collision, I just want to give shouts out to New Japan because I had low expectations for the show, but it over-delivered. It was a really good show, but credit goes to Mercedes Moné. She was put in the main event spot. I heard it had pretty good ticket sales, had a pretty good reaction for the show, and she totally made me forget that she put on a dud at Wembley Stadium because her and Momo Watanabe had much better chemistry, which is why I'm blaming the match at All In on Britt Baker. Sorry.
That's what Annika was saying. So it was Britt's fault. Case closed. Because we know that Mercedes can put on good matches. Like we've seen her do it. Like she did a good one with Willow. Did she fight Willow? Yeah, she fought Willow.
Yeah, so that was Double or Nothing.
So they have great. She has good. It's probably was Britt, and like you guys were saying, it's more so like Britt has she looks like she doesn't even want to be there anymore.
I wouldn't even say it's that. I would just say that she's been rusty since she came back. Like the time off can affect you in different ways, and it's really hurt her in-ring work.
I want to get new ring gear. That ring gear is terrible. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, she got to work on that. But Mercedes in ring gear, she was out here looking like Wonder Woman last night at Capital Collision. She was looking good. Credit to her. Leo Rush had like a special entrance with like a dancer doing like a bunch of acrobatics and stuff. He got a good reaction in his hometown, but Zack Sabre Jr., man, I just want to give him credit because I might not make him my best of the week because, someone won a main event in Wembley Stadium that I might give my best of the week. Spoiler alert too. But Zack Sabre Jr., man, he has not slowed down. This is the craziest schedule I've seen from a G1 Climax winner immediately after the tournament. He's putting on banger after banger after banger after banger since winning the G1 Climax. What was it, 2 weeks ago? It's been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Teton was a really great matchup, which another spoiler alert might be in my matches of the week this week. But Finally, we had finishing off what we missed. Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix had their final week this week. You had day 8, which was, I think, last Friday. Mayu Iwatani beating Mei Seira. You also had a good bout with Maika defeating Hazuki, in one of the best matches of the tournament so far. Day 9 featured Starlight Kid and Miyu Amasaki fighting to a 15-minute time limit draw. Shuri beat Xena in a hard-hitting affair. Saya Kamitani defeated Suzu Suzuki in a very good main event. Day 10 featured Saya Ida beating Azumi in a rock-solid bout. You had Starlight Kid defeating Xena in a good matchup. Mei Seira beat Tam Nakano to give Tam no wins in the 5-star Grand Prix. Hanan defeated Saya Kamitani in a decent main event on that show. Day 11 featured the playoffs and quarterfinals, which saw Azumi defeating Mei Seira and Tamako Anabo to advance to the quarterfinals. Hanan beat Suzu Suzuki to advance to the quarterfinals as well, while Mayu Iwatani defeated Natsupoi to advance to the semifinals. You also had Saya Kamitani beat Starlight Kid to advance to the semifinals. Hanan pulled off an upset over Shuri to advance to the semis, while Maika went undefeated through the block to beat Azumi in the main event to advance to the semifinals. And then this morning, it was the 5-star Grand Prix finals, which features Tam Nakano defeating Natsuko Toro to win the World of Stardom Championship. So after Tam Nakano didn't get a win in the 5-star Grand Prix, she just turns around and wins the top title in the company. Love Stardom for that. Hina beat her sister, Rena, to win the Future of Stardom Championship. Then in the tournament semifinals, it was Saya Kamitani beating Hanan, while Maika defeated Mayu Iwatani to set up Maika versus Saya in the main event. And it was Maika who is the first woman to become undefeated in the premier tournament in Stardom, who defeated Saya Kamitani in the main event of today's show to win the 5-star Grand Prix. And now she gets a shot at the World of Stardom Championship held by Tam Nakano at the biggest show of the year for Stardom at the end of the year. So it's going to be Maika versus Tam Nakano, which a lot of people believed was going to be the main event of their biggest show of the year last year, but they made up for it by running it back this year. So shout outs to Maika, which any other week, I'll probably make her an honorable mention for my best of the week, because any other week, winning one of the biggest tournaments of the year would give you best of the week. But once again,
undefeated.
Someone won the main event in Wembley and undefeated. Yeah. So she's definitely my honorable mention for best of the week, because man, undefeated in the 5-star Grand Prix is just unheard of. And then finally, to wrap up what we missed, TNA Impact this week. The show features Speedball Mike Bailey defeating Rich Swann in a very good opener to retain the X Division Championship. Mike Santana beat Eddie Edwards in a solid matchup. Jordan Grace defeated Ash in a fun match by elegance to retain the Knockouts World Championship, while Nick Nemeth and Josh Alexander had an entertaining face-to-face sit-down interview ahead of Emergence. And then you had last night's Emergence show pay-per-view that featured Nick Nemeth defeating Josh Alexander in a 1-hour Iron Man matchup to retain the TNA World Championship. And post-match, WWE Hall of Famer John Bradshaw Layfield appeared to confront Nemeth and whisper something in his ear. So it seems like JBL is going to be here for a while. So,
He been fighting
TNA, folks. It's TNA. The system beat the Hardys. Mike Santana.
The crowd didn't give a fuck. The crowd did not give a fuck. You saw that too, right? Nobody gave a fuck.
They did not react. They did not react that well.
Why she call her Ashy? I can't. Annika.
Ashy by elegance.
Yes, it's still going on. I don't know why, but yes, it's still going on. And listen, Dana Brooke is having, believe it or not, her hot girl summer, because she's been on their show more than she was ever on the other show. Just saying. And she's main eventing their pay-per-view, their main show. So what if it was only like 3 people that saw it? But it's okay. I was one of the 3 people, but it's all right.
I was one of the 3 people too. I watched TNA Emergence last
Damn,
night.
so 2 out of 3 people are in here. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, sorry.
The system beat. The system beat the Hardys, Mike Santana, and Joe Hendry in a pretty fun multi-man tag team matchup. The highlight of which was the entrance where Joe Hendry did a remix to his theme song, which was "I Believe in Joe Hendry, I believe in Matt Hardy, I believe in Jeff Hardy," and had Jeff and Matt behind the white screen doing the clapping with them. And then when it went to the guitar riff, it transitioned into doo 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 doo, and it had them doing the clapping while the Hardy theme song on. Oh, it was so good. It's
really? Okay, I have to go see that.
Go out of your way to watch that.
Okay,
Jordan Grace and Spitfire defeated Ash by Elegance and Militia. Our thoughts to Alicia Edwards, who got injured during that matchup. She was kind of knocked out during that matchup.
Concussion?
Yeah, it looked like it from a dive attempt. Steve Macklin beat Eric Young in one-on-one competition. ABC beat AJ Francis and the newest member of First Class, Casey Navarro, to retain the TNA World Tag Team Championships. And Zachary Wentz defeated Speedball Mike Bailey, Jason Hodge, and Laredo Kid, NXT's Riley Osborne, and Hammerstone in a super fun Ultimate X matchup to win the X Division Championship. What? You built up Speedball to beat the undefeated Mustafa Ali, only to have him drop the title a month later. I'm happy for Zachary Wentz. He deserves it. He's been through so much with the release from WWE, coming to TNA. He's won tag team gold with the Rascals. It's his first singles title with TNA. I'm all for this. If it happened any other time, but 1 month after you built up Speedball to beat Mustafa Ali, and 2 days before, Zachary Wentz should probably lose to Wes Lee. Unless Wes Lee is going to become the X Division champion, I don't see the point of putting Zachary Wentz as X Division champion before that matchup.
TNA.
Yeah.
Say the line. TNA gonna TNA. That's what happened. Ladies.
Now, it's not even the match itself. I didn't get a headache from the match. I got a headache because TNA does dumb shit like this. That's why I got a headache. And they continue to do dumb shit.
Yeah, they do. And that Nick Nemeth and Josh Alexander, it was a good idea, but it didn't turn out to be a great match. I think their 30-minute matchup was better than the 1-hour match. So.
Yeah, I think it went.
Was that bad?
No, it wasn't bad. It's just this. It was a 1 hour Iron Man match. It was a 1-man Iron Man match, and I'm like, it was like. There's certain matches you could get away with when it comes to Iron Man matches. I just don't think they were a good matchup for that kind of match.
Got it.
Yeah. But Nick Nemeth, we already know who he's going to be facing next, as in a digital exclusive posted to Twitter after last night's show. Nemeth cut a promo for the crowd saying that he addressed Moose, saying that he was coming for the world championship. Nemeth took shots at Moose and said he was protected by the system, but that he would take Moose out at Victory Road. And it was confirmed by TNA. It will be the main event of Victory Road coming up on September 13th. But in more serious news in regards to TNA, Rich Swann has been suspended from the company and is now entering rehab after it was revealed he had a disorderly intoxication arrest in June. Post Wrestling reports that Swann was arrested on June 8th in Atamato, Springs, Florida, and charged with both disorderly public intoxication causing a disturbance. The charge is a misdemeanor. TNA told Post Wrestling on Wednesday, August 21st, that Swann is entering a substance abuse rehab program and has been suspended pending their investigation into the matter. The company was unaware of the arrest until they were contacted by the outlet for comment on Monday, August 19th. According to the arrest report, Swann attempted to forcefully enter through an apartment at 9:50 p.m. on the 8th. The resident of the apartment told the police that he was in the shower and heard a loud banging on the door after his son started yelling for him. The man went to his room and grabbed his gun, telling Swann he had it and to leave. Swann started yelling, "This is my house," after which the resident said they opened the door. Then contacted police, and when they arrived, he told them that Swann had run through toward the nearby woods, and the apartment is a short walk from Swann's own address. That resident said he didn't want to press charges against Swann despite his door being damaged. However, the police then received from a woman in the same neighborhood who said that she'd gone to her son's apartment to pick up some deliveries and encountered Swann, who began trying to talk to him and started following her. She said that she told him to stop, and he replied, "What do you mean, stop following you?" She said she began running as he followed her to her door, but was unable to get inside and locked the door before Swann could get in. Police located Swann, who appeared to be intoxicated, and took him into custody. The officer reported that he smelled of alcohol on Swann's breath, and his speech was slurred. He asked Swann if he had any alcohol, to which Swann said he did. And when asked how many drinks, Swann answered a lot. Swann was arrested and driven to the John E. Pollock convention facility in Sanford, Florida. He was released the next day on $250 bond and submitted an affidavit of indigenous. He is being defended by a private attorney, and a pre-trial conference was scheduled for last week. The report adds that Swann was charged with the same offense back in September of 2022 after causing a disturbance in his apartment complex. TNA said in a statement, TNA Wrestling takes any and all charges against his performance seriously. Swann is responsible for his own personal actions. He was informed TNA Wrestling that he is voluntarily entering a substance abuse rehabilitation program, and TNA Wrestling has suspended Rich pending the completion of its investigation. So, thoughts and prayers to Rich Swann, and hopefully he can address his issues. We've had Rich on the channel before for interview. Very nice guy. I met him in person as well, but got to deal with those real issues out there.
Same.
Yeah, gotta get those demons together, peeps. Get some therapy, get some help.
Indeed, Power Driver Finisher. I told you it was a very busy week, and a lot of news. It was crazy this week for sure. But we finally made it to the end of what. Huh?
I did say there was a lot to talk about.
We finally made it to the end of what we missed. Very quickly, we will give you our matches of the week and best and worst of the week. Best of the week for me, guys, is Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. Best of the week. Worst of the week, Dr. Britt Baker, DM. Pretty simple. Krssi, what about you?
I would have to agree with you there, friend.
Josh?
Best of the week. I'm gonna say Danielson and Swerve. Danielson for that moment, and Swerve
for getting the bag. Yep, there you go.
Yes, that's true.
Yep, that's it. That's the best of the week.
Worst of the week by far. I would say Britt Baker. By far.
Oh, and Nikki Bella's husband. No, Brie.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yep. Worst is Artem. Yep. Thank you, friend.
Yeah. I'll give Britt a
little grace.
Get out of jail. A get out of jail free card. Yes.
I'll give it to both of them. I'll give it to both of them too. I'll give it to both of them.
Okay. Yep.
Matches of the week, since I probably got the most, I'll go through mine very quickly here. Number 10, Hiromu Takahashi versus Mustafa Ali from Capital Collision last night. Number 9, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Teton from Capital Collision last night. Great technical wrestling matchup. Number 8, Tomohiro Ishii versus JJ Gale from RevPro 12th anniversary. Number 7, Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe from Capital Collision. Mercedes, thank you for wiping my memory of your Britt Baker matchup. Number 6, Timeless Toni Storm versus Mariah May from AEW All In London. Another case of David Meltzer hates women's wrestling. How the fuck did that get the same rating as a fucking pre-show matchup? You fucking idiot. Just give me the stars. Give me the I'm gonna pull a gun like that resident against Rich Swann. I'm gonna pull a gun on you. Give me the fucking stars. Number 5.
I had blocked my screen.
Number 5. Number 5, the Casino Gauntlet from All In. Number
we can use that as a match? Okay, great. I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Number 4, Michael Oku versus Luke Jacobs from RevPro 12th anniversary. Number 3, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hechicero from RevPro 12th anniversary. Number 2, Will Ospreay versus MJF Part 2 from All In. And number 1, of course, Bryan Danielson, Swerve Strickland, the All In main event. Number 1, and probably going to be high up on my list for match of the year. Krssi Love, what you got this week?
Okay, so I have 5. Number 5 is going to be Carmelo and Andrade from SmackDown yesterday. Number 4 is going to be Timeless Toni Storm and Mariah May. Number 3 is the Casino Gauntlet match. Number 2, MJF Will Ospreay. Number 1, Danielson and Swerve.
Good list right there.
No problem. Look, I didn't have no mistakes, no nothing. I have a thing. I had it already.
You had it. You had it ready. You had it, girl.
I had it ready.
Josh, what you got this week?
Number 3, I got the casino battle royal match. Well, I said battle royal gauntlet match.
Yeah.
Number 2, Ospreay versus MJF, and number 1, easily Danielson versus Swerve.
We could put Rick Swann on that list too. Yeah, it need to be 3 people. Damn. Sorry, bro.
There was a lot of choices. We usually struggle with worst of the week.
Yeah, we usually struggle with worst. We had a good choice of like pickings this week. Sorry to say. That's not a good thing.
I wouldn't say a good choice. We had a horrible bunch of.
We had a horrible bunch. Sorry, I mean, we had like just a bunch to pick from, and they all can get it. That's just what it is.
Indeed. But it's time for final predictions. You want to go outside? Yeah. Okay, I'll take you outside when I'm done.
Yes.
Hey, Harlem.
All right. What's your prediction for Bash in Berlin? Who wins? Gunther versus Randy Orton.
Randy Orton.
Okay, she said
Randy Orton.
There you go.
Oh. Too bad your choice is wrong, but it's okay.
Bold strategy.
Right, bold. Yeah, that's a bold one. Harlem.
Oh,
heard us.
We'll start with the mixed tag team matchup on the card. Bash in Berlin. It will be the Judgment Day's Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio versus the Terra Twins. Who you got, Krssi?
I think the Terra Twins are taking this one.
I'm gonna agree with you there, Josh.
The baby faces are on.
I got Damien and Rhea taking it.
For the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair challenge the champions Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Just put the titles on Bianca and Jade because we know you don't care about Isla and Alba WWE. Krssi?
I actually want them to keep the titles, to be honest. They finally did like a good promo like the other day. I had liked it. Like they did the girls. I think they showcased them very well. I think they haven't like give them full potential of like what they are capable of doing. And I think that they should not lose. But I could be wrong.
Josh?
I'm going to go with Bianca and Jade. I think they get the titles back.
Strap match. CM Punk going one-on-one with Drew McIntyre. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre because Punk's going to win the Hell in a Cell. You need Drew to come out of this feud with something, and I want him to come out with 2 straight wins over Punk. And because it's the 4 corner stipulation. Josh,
What's the 4 corner stipulation?
they have to touch all 4 corners to win.
Oh, that's dumb. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it is.
I think I want to say Drew, but I think they're gonna give this to Musty Phil because it's gonna be one and one. So
one. I think they're gonna give it to Phil 1-1, so we can have our third match, which is gonna probably. I'll go with Musty Phil. If I'm wrong again, then I'm never picking this guy ever again.
For the undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes defends against Kevin Owens. I think there's no question Cody gets the win. The question is, will KO turn heel? And I'm going to say no. Krssi?
Yeah, I don't have faith that they're going to pull that trigger as of yet of him turning, but he's definitely losing for sure.
Josh?
Cody's winning. I don't think KO turns heel. He doesn't need to turn heel.
Not yet.
I don't need to see it again yet.
And then for the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther will defend against Randy Orton. Gunther for the win. Krssi?
Gunther.
Josh?
Skinny Walter.
And I'm done with you. It has been confirmed by our chat. Apparently on the pre-show, they did announce that Safet says Cody and KO will kick off the show. So
I mean, as they should, because the other two are gonna.
I thought Terror Twins and Judgment Day should kick off the show.
Yeah, because honestly, Gunther Orton's getting that main event easily because they are in this guy's territory. So
Cody start off.
I think it's a good move. I think it's
Cody and them. They could.
And they want the American to get out of there as fast as possible. So you put Cody there.
This is true. I guess. And then tomorrow night, we got NXT No Mercy from Denver, Colorado. The new TNA X Division champion, Zachary Wentz, goes one-on-one with Wesley. I'm going with Wesley for the win. Krssi?
Wesley for the win.
Josh?
Wesley. I mean, it's NXT booking, of course. This one.
For the NXT Tag Team Champions, Chase U, Andre Chase, and Ridge Holland will defend against Axiom and Nathan Frazier. I'm going with Chase U to retain. Josh?
Chase U to retain.
Krssi?
Chase U across the board.
For the NXT North American Championship, Obafemi will defend against Tony D'Angelo. These two guys have great characters, but I'm going with Obafemi to retain. Krssi?
Just great characters. That's it. Nothing else that you're expecting. Oba is not losing yet. He's a big star.
Josh?
I think Oba's winning. Hopefully they keep the match like 10 minutes because anything after that is gonna be winded.
You know what? Damn, John.
For the NXT Women's North American Championship, Kalani Jordan defends against Wendy Shu. Keep the title on Kalani Jordan, in my opinion. She's talented. She just has no character. Krssi?
Right. Again, but this is what we said about Roxanne. We had to we have these baby faces, but what is their character? And it's a few girls that are on there, and you're like, okay, who are they? What is the purpose of these girls? But yes, she'll keep the title. She's cute.
Josh?
No, I mean I agree with Krssi though. I think Kalani, she's kind of just bland. Her mic skills are horrendous. But she's gonna retain.
She's very green. Again, a lot of the girls that are on NXT, very pretty, but they have no character direction. It's like the ring gear does not match with the cat. What are we supposed to be doing? There's a bunch of girls that are on there. You're like, what is this? Who are you?
One that has a bright future is Jada Parker. She challenges Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. And the other big question is, who is the mystery woman who is watching their sit-down interview on Tuesday's NXT? I'm going with Roxanne to retain, and I'm going for Julia's big debut at No Mercy. Krssi?
I just want to say that Jada Parker looks like she lived next door to Sid when he was in the Bronx. Up in, when you were here.
She did look like a couple of my neighbors.
I'm telling you, no. She looked like she
especially with those edges.
That's what I'm saying. Gotta be. Anywho, yeah. So I'm gonna say, or maybe it might be Roxy.
Who?
But I think
Oh, you think Roxy wins?
Yes.
Okay.
Roxy Perez.
Josh, who you got?
Roxanne retains, and yeah, I mean it's Julia. I mean, if it's anybody else, I think it would be kind of disappointing.
And then finally, the main event is Joe Hendry of TNA Wrestling challenging All Ego Ethan Page for the NXT Championship with Trick Williams as a special guest referee. I got Ethan Page retaining thanks to an assist from TNA's Josh Alexander. Krssi,
You think he'll win?
I think Ethan Page wins, and it's help from Josh Alexander, his former tag team partner.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, Ethan's not losing yet. No, he's too much of a good heel.
Josh, who you got?
Ethan retains. I mean, hopefully the match is watchable because won't be surprised if it's mid.
I'm not going to be surprised either, but we did full predictions and a preview for both shows, Bash in Berlin and No Mercy, yesterday with Maggie of Fightful, so you can check that out on the channel before tomorrow's show. But I want to thank True Jaw Josh, Miss Krssi Love for joining me today. All of you, we had over 115 of you watching, whether it on all three platforms we're on. So we appreciate all the support for this early edition of Tru Heel Heat. We'll be back at a regular time, 11:05 a.m. Eastern time next Saturday to preview All Out 2024. Miss Krssi Love, the floor is yours. Let everybody know where they can follow you.
Yes, guys, you can join us back here every Saturday, 11:05 for our flagship show, which is Tru Heel Heat. Other than that, you can see me on bodyslam.net every Friday for Know Your Role for our post show of SmackDown. Other than that, you can follow me, Krssi_Love_1, Tru Heel Krssi Love on Twitter, and then it's just my plain old name. Thank you.
Josh, let everybody know.
JM Punk 321 Twitter and Instagram. I'll be back next weekend for Tru Heel Heat, and might be doing the Bash Berlin review. We'll see what comes together.
Yeah, probably be around one or two, like we did our last pay-per-view review for WWE. 1 or 2 p.m. 1:05 or 2:05 p.m. Eastern time for WWE Bash in Berlin review. I'll be on the radio tomorrow on the Mark Koch show in Las Vegas on his YouTube channel as well, talking about All In and Bryan Danielson's win and me being in the third row for that show. So I'll be on there around, I think it's at 12 p.m. Eastern. So check me out over there. But then in the afternoon, probably 2:05, so I have a little space in between. 2:05 p.m. Eastern time, the WWE Bash in Berlin review. Hopefully Josh will be there. Maybe we'll get somebody else to join us as well, so be on the lookout for that. You can follow us on the Twitter machine, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at Tru Heel Heat. Patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best place to support us when we are not live here. And finally, we do have one more super chat donation.
I was just about to say we got one more chat to shout out.
Thank you, I Make Beats. Thank you, Vala B. Thank you, Chuck Berries. Thank you,
Bell.
Louisville. Thank you, Bell, for the huge super chat donation and those very thoughtful words and expressing yourself in that matter. We talked about a lot of serious things, a lot of fun things, a lot of great wrestling throughout the week. Yep. Thank you. This was one of our better episodes here, which we kept it compact because we want you all to enjoy WWE Bash in Berlin starting in less than 10 minutes. Join Romeo and the Around the Point gang. They'll be live shortly for our Bash in Berlin watch party, and I'll be back with you tomorrow for the review. For Miss Krssi Love, for the True Jaw Josh, thank you once again. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Tru Heel Heat 292, All In 2, No Bash Mercy. Discussing the latest wrestling news. Until next time, we're out.
Later.